This is Snake. Can you hear me? Good. The mission is simple. Put your geek pants on and infiltrate Foxhound. If you need backup, contact Ken and Chris on their codec frequency. Ready? Snake out.
Uncrinkle these just about to be recycled notes.
You know what's hilarious is we usually do this Wednesday nights, and Thursdays are recyclable day. So if we would have did it the proper night, these would have been in the trash.
That's true.
In the trash.
That would have been finished.
Yeah.
That would have been finished.
And if you're wondering why our notes were in the trash,
They're probably not. But we'll tell you anyway.
they're probably not.
This is a redo. A redo, not a remake.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's a remake.
We had a great rehearsal.
Yeah. We had a rehearsal that we like jackasses recorded with no audio. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we chose to, not because there was an error or anything.
Yeah, just for fun.
Possibly the microphone, but whatever. So this is take 2, I guess, of the X-Men First Class Quadrilogy.
I mentioned it on Twitter to my followers.
Why is quotations? They're followers.
The situation. The situation.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still your
saying
not
like
your followers.
I'm going to try to get this up for the Thursday as usual, but due to the fact, and one of our guys that follows us, his name's Trinity. He's like, just release it without audio. We'll ad-lib the whole thing.
That's not a bad idea.
I was like, I'm pretty sure you're the only one that watched all 3 hours of
just to ad-lib.
Just,
I'm actually intrigued to see what he would have to say, like how he would capture both of our respective voices, and how many overt penis references he would make to make up for the fact that we talk about penis a lot. Apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
But yeah, so Geek Pantsers, to bring you up to speed in case you missed the last 2 seconds. Yeah, we did one. We finished it. We knocked out a almost 4-hour run.
Yeah, the biggest episode we've ever shot.
Of the X-Men First Class Quadrilogy, which we didn't come up with a name properly. So
Beginnings.
That's right, Beginnings.
Beginnings.
The Beginnings Quadrilogy.
Yes.
But so that's.
So now we get to talk about those again.
Yep. Luckily, we still have our notes.
Pretend that we don't know what we're about to say.
Yeah, that's the only drawback, eh?
That's the drawback.
That's the drawback. Although I have a feeling that this will now be thinned out. Because
it will be an edited version.
It will not be a 3-hour run. I think it'll be a little bit less. I mean, because even the stuff we'll talk about, like the Sony Disney Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Fiasco was the word I used.
Fiasco.
That's right. That was the word I used.
That was a good word.
And I also followed up by saying we could have said catastrophe as well.
Yes.
So I don't think it'll take up that much time. Especially because now I think we've had time to think about our respective positions, and we might go, oh, that Chris guy was right, or Ken had some points, or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so we are going to touch upon the Sony Marvel Spider-Man fiasco, and then of course get to the X-Men First Class Quadrilogy, but or the Beginnings Quadrilogy, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But just for reference sake, this is the Geek Pants Camcast. This is Chris Mercier. That over there is Kenneth Levitsky.
I'm a that.
And he's a that because
I'm a that.
Because he's so amazing that it's hard to quantify. How do you like
it's hard
that?
to contain all this in one body.
Yeah, in one
all
pronoun.
Amazing.
Just in one pronoun.
That.
Let alone.
That too.
Yeah. So didn't think I'd go there, did you?
No, you didn't.
So yeah. So here goes. I think I started the Sony Disney thing last time. So how about you start it this time?
The Sony Disney thing?
Or Sony Marvel thing.
Yeah.
I guess it's a Disney thing.
The fiasco chat.
Yeah.
The fiasco chat.
Unless you have something else you want to add, since we haven't really talked about much.
I don't know, like.
Okay.
You want to talk with Joker?
I do want to talk about Joker.
I knew it.
I
knew it.
Since I finally watched the trailer, and I gotta say, like, it looks really good.
Yeah.
Like, even the first trailer where I was like, you know what? Like, I'm actually pretty sold on this. Now, where you see Todd Phillips is blatantly, like, ripping off Martin Scorsese, like, blatantly, between the comedian, although I love that is referenced in this movie, because that's a movie that I've wanted to see, but I haven't.
Yeah.
Because it's right up there with that Taxi Driver feel where, like, you're watching, from what I understand, you're watching a guy's descent into madness, because he thinks he's the greatest comedian in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but he's really fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that juxtaposition, but I also like that as like a, almost like it's influencing, what's his name, Albert?
Albert.
What's his real name? Or his...
No, Albert.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Albert Fink or whatever?
Yeah.
Whatever. Joker.
Yeah.
The Joker
Joker.
before he's the Joker. I like that that's kind of, tying that into... I also like that I think we might have actually seen Thomas Wayne. That older business-looking dude.
He's supposed to be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think... I can't remember who the actor was, but he's in like a bunch of things.
Yeah.
But I liked how they potentially have shown him and showing them to be at odds, which I think is kind of interesting. And as far as this being like the worlds of DC, like you were mentioning the other day on the original, I find that like that actually works in favor for this movie. Like this actually helps this movie stand on its own.
Yeah.
So like even I read some of the stuff like on Reddit where they were like as a possible origin story for the Joker, this looks pretty fucking good,
It's getting 10s out of 10s across the board.
Yeah.
Got an 8-minute standing ovation at the festival it opened up at.
The only drawback with this movie is that for the next like year or two, we're gonna see fucking like the worst kind of comic book fans emulating this Joker, just like they did with Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson and stuff like that, or even like aspects where like Rick and Morty, they idolize Rick, or BoJack Horseman. I don't know if you ever watched BoJack Horseman.
I have watched BoJack.
That's a great show.
It's a fun show.
It's a great show, absolutely great show. But again, like none of these characters are people that you should be looking up to.
Yeah,
they're all like pricks, like horrible people. I mean, there's really not too much that you could actually say is good about them. I mean, I guess like in Heath Ledger's Joker, you could say that he has his convictions and that'll never be broken. That would be like the only positive for that character.
Yeah. But
that's it. So, but the drawback is, like I said, you're gonna get like at least a year of people being like, "I'm the Joker." His Joker laugh was awesome.
He's got the laugh.
His Joker laugh was when they did that, even though he wasn't like in makeup.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yep.
He was just doing that like. Even though in the context of that laugh, where it was like a super like "fuck you" laugh, I loved that, and I loved how he had the laugh, but at no point in time looked like he was laughing while he was doing it. I was like, man, this is crazy. Like I've never ever said that Joaquin Phoenix is not a good actor.
Oh, he's a great
I've
actor.
always said he's a great actor.
Yeah.
He's a weird dude in real life. Not that I've met him, but I just like that whole like is Joaquin dead? Fucking documentary.
And then they do the we're still here, or I'm still here.
I'm still here thing. I was like,
he's got the big beard.
That whole performance piece showed you that he's a little fucking weird.
Wasn't that like 2 years of his actual life?
Yeah. 2 years of his actual life where he gained weight, grew a beard, tried to look like a strict Orthodox Jew, right? Yep. And then rapped. Shittily.
Horrible rap.
Like
horrible.
And I mean, like, I'm not a rap aficionado. Like, I couldn't tell you, like, why some rappers are better than the other. I can just tell you, just so that there's some street cred on me, that like the rap that I grew up with was Dr. Dre, who's like my all-time favorite. Snoop Dogg, also one of my all-time favorites. And then all the guys that were in and around those guys there. So like Nate Dogg and Dr. Dre and Eminem, like that kind of thing. I wasn't really big on 50 Cent, but I kind of stopped with Eminem. And even Eminem, it's not everything by him I like. I'll never say he's a shitty rapper, but I'm just saying, like, I have some rap cred, is basically what I'm getting at. But his rap was fucking terrible. And then, like, you see the interviews, the whole works, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? And then you find out the whole thing was for that movie, and you're like, oh. Yeah. And then the movie didn't do anything.
I love the gun part with David Letterman.
Oh, yeah.
That part makes me laugh so much. David Letterman was going to kill him.
Oh, my God.
And then
the only time
later, it was just for a movie.
The only time I ever thought that, like, David Letterman was, like, gonna fucking kill somebody on live TV. Yeah. And it it's him, and it's for a movie that didn't do anything for his career.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it fucking put a pin on his career for a couple of years. He had to go into hiding, essentially, so that way people would go, no, I think the first thing he did was walk the line. I think it was just...
No, that was before this.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right.
I think his...
He fought... Could you imagine that? Doing Walk the Line.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, as far
Oscar nomination.
As far as your biopics go, it's nothing out of the blue. Like, and
Yeah.
that was one of the reasons why I was like, it's a great biopic,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's still a biopic. Like, it's still just kind of like check, 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 check. You know, and he did a really good job, and she did a really good job. Everyone's like, oh, she looks so much like her. She didn't. I mean, she had brown hair.
Yeah.
Okay, and she was white.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you could say that she looked like her.
It's got 50% down, yeah.
Yeah. Is that 50%?
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
40.
I guess, really.
Yeah.
You see white hair and brown hair, you see that is,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay. Half of it, but either way. But, so, not to knock him as an actor, I've always thought he was a great actor. But this is one of those where I'm like, okay, what happens now? In the sense that, like, because I feel like he's in the same sort of mindset that Heath Ledger was in, right? So it's like, okay, can he bounce back from that? Because Heath Ledger could not.
I don't know.
It's tough. It's a tough call.
I don't know.
Tough call. But it's also kind of, I'm worrying in the sense that because he's so good here, how many other, like, Joker movies are they going to be like, hey, Joaquin, check this out? You know? I don't know how this movie ends, so I don't know how it lends itself to a sequel. Part of me kind of hopes that it doesn't do enough to make a sequel, because I feel like...
I don't know.
But I know, like, I
With
saw the early
reviews. I think we're gonna...
I saw the early reviews.
It's a word-of-mouth movie. I don't think anyone's really... No one was asking for a Joker movie.
I definitely was against the idea right at the beginning.
So...
Right at the beginning. In fact, up until that trailer, I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm against this. I'm against this in all
I
its
love
form.
Joaquin, and Todd Phillips, great director.
And I love Joker, but it's not one
Do
of
I
those...
need more Joker?
Yeah,
No.
I guess my other fear is that, like, because Joker is obviously going to do good enough for a sequel, it's also going to do good enough so that other, like Marvel, for instance, will be like, no, let's do a Doctor Doom movie. Let's do a Sabretooth movie. Let's do a movie for every single villain of all time. And I know technically Venom is kind of the beginning of that, but Venom was always more of a lethal protector in that movie anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't start out like the villain he did in the comic books. But I don't
We
know.
should get more villain movies, though.
Really?
Yeah. I like villain movies.
Well, I don't know about that.
All right.
I'll have to agree to disagree, even though, like I said, this looks amazing, and I have a feeling I can guarantee that I'm going to love it.
Yep.
But,
I have a feeling that I'm not going to say love it, because I don't know yet. I think I'm going to enjoy it. But I don't know about the replayability. Like, I feel like I might be a one, and I'll watch it again.
That's a good point.
Because it doesn't look like a movie that's going to keep me coming back.
Yeah, that's a good
again.
point, because, like I've said this before, and I'll say it a lot, like, I look at a lot of these comic book movies, and I always feel like the best ones stand on their own without any of the comic book elements.
Yeah.
Right? And then the other part that I don't mention is, but they always keep me coming back for more. Like, I guarantee you that I will be watching The Dark Knight for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down for the rest of my life. But you're right. Maybe I won't do that with Joker. Maybe Joker I'll do one and maybe two, and after the second one I'll be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, it might be one of those, like, if it shows up on TV, there's nothing else on, maybe I'll watch it. But it all depends.
I'm going to be a lot more specific with my superhero movies going forward.
Oh.
And comic movies as a whole. Because I didn't get Shazam.
I don't want to say superhero movies. Comic movies.
I watched Shazam, and I was like, I liked it, but I had no interest in it.
I was actually glad I didn't see it in the theater.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I don't know if I'll even own it.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at right now. Where I'm just like, I liked it. If it's on and there's nothing else on, I might check it out. But I definitely don't see myself. I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to own it.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the only reason why I haven't gotten Aquaman or Endgame yet was just because I was like, you know what? I have the money, but can I use it for other things, right? The answer is always yes, I can.
Always.
So at some point, you grow up. And you go, okay, all right. Like, I'll get it eventually. I know that I'll get it eventually because I really thoroughly enjoyed Aquaman. And Endgame, of course, it's just one of those things.
Well, I kind of feel like that, too, with, like, the MCU. Like, I've been getting them all up to now, but, like, after Endgame, after Far From Home, I'm kind of just like, I'm going to be more specific about what I want. Like, I'll get Captain Marvel just because it connects to this, but I don't know if I would get Captain Marvel too.
Yeah, see, and that's a good point. Yeah, and even like if we're talking about movies that we'll see in the theater, Captain Marvel 2 is one that I could see myself seeing in the theater. Black Panther 2, same thing.
I'll see Black Panther 2.
Doctor Strange, same thing. Black Widow, same thing.
That's
Eternals
are really good to depend on trailers.
Has to look amazing.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm not seeing it opening night. I want to get some more of those reviews out there, even though it's funny because I'm like, I don't really take much stock in reviews. But at the same time, like, I mean, we're all relatively intelligent people, so you can kind of weed through the blatant, like, Marvel hype.
Can you trust reviews with the MCU, though? I don't know.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you can read it. I mean,
it's probably going to get 95%.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas if it was a DC movie,
maybe like minus minus 20.
This is so awful. It's
be like,
in
they
the
should
hole.
be paying you to see this movie.
Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm all paranoid about the episode now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right, so, I feel good now.
Joker, I feel like I'm definitely going to see that in the theater too. That's for sure. I'm going to see.
I'm going to Joker, and then we're going to Camcast Joker.
Yeah, and then we're going to Camcast Joker. I'm not going to wait to see that.
There's not a lot of movies left coming out this year that I'm interested to see in the theater.
Yeah, exactly.
Ready or Not, I want to go watch. That came out of nowhere, and the trailer was so fun. Ready or Not, new horror movie. It's got like a Your Next vibe to it. Have you seen Your Next?
You're Next. That's the one where
that final girl goes after the killers.
Oh no!
Flips the table.
No, I wanted to.
Oh,
I actually saw a trailer for that. And I was like,
good.
"Who's in it?"
So good. No one real big, I think. Where is it? It's right behind you on the very bottom.
Okay, well, I'll worry about that. I'll worry about that later. So, enough about Joker. Let's get to Sony, Disney.
We've trimmed the episode down, so let's have more topics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's only because I saw that Joker trailer. So
the trailer was really good.
Okay, so your thoughts on Sony and Disney? What are your thoughts on
my thoughts on it? Let's see. What did I say last time?
I don't really care, man.
You don't really care? Because last time never happened for them.
That's true. That's true.
Basically, I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it because I get to see Spider-Man back in the Spider-Verse with his rogues gallery and everything. I'm going to miss seeing him in the MCU.
Yeah.
But I've already seen him with all my favorite MCU superheroes.
Yeah.
Who are no longer on the table besides Thor. And I doubt Thor and Spider-Man will ever meet up again because Thor's going all cosmic and stuff now, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm okay with it for at least a couple movies.
Yeah, I have to say I feel the same way. Ultimately, though, I'm still of the belief, when we talked about this previously, I'm still of the belief that between now and possibly after the third movie, possibly before, because, like, I mean, we're looking at still potentially 2021 for Spider-Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Barring anything unforeseen, 2021.
Yeah.
So that's still plenty of time to renegotiate. However, depending on how well, they might wait to see how well Spider-Man 3 does.
They will.
And then go back to the drawing table. And I think what will ultimately happen is that they will renegotiate.
But it's hard to say. Like, I think it's
hard to say.
I think it's still going to do good because it's still going to have Tom Holland. It's probably going to still have John Watts.
Yeah, it's still going to have
the same writers. It's going to have the same feel. It'll have that weirdness because they won't mention Happy or Tony or anything.
There will be that awkwardness because you can't reference anything at all.
MCU at all.
So a lot of the stuff that we talked about, we feel like they purposely tied to the character.
Yeah. Because
on some level, Disney thought for sure that they were never ever going to lose this. They were actually, I believe, Disney was so confident that they would get the character that they were like, "Fuck yeah, Sony, you can have Tony Stark, and we can build a whole mythos around him being our Uncle Ben, because that's the big thing. You can't use Uncle Ben. Which, when you told me that, I was like, oh,
that was
totally
part of the original contract.
Explains why.
No mention,
no
pictures.
mention of Uncle Ben.
You got some initials in the last
Initials
movie.
in the last movie, and even then, that was a quick, like, if you blink, you missed it.
Gone.
Right? It was just like the Mysterio, the original Quentin Beck thing. If you blinked, you missed it.
Yeah.
Right? Which I thought that it was so funny that later everyone's like, did you see it? Like, it was a big deal, and it was like, yeah, I saw it, but I wasn't like, I just assumed either you saw it or you didn't.
Yeah.
And that was it.
You didn't miss anything if you missed it.
Yeah. Like,
it does nothing for the story.
Not seeing him for that half a second didn't suddenly go, well, I kind of wish I would have saw him a little bit sooner, because then it would have made more sense. But anyway, without getting too much off topic, I do feel they're going to renegotiate based on the strength or weakness of the third movie. Because Sony and Spider-Man have a hard time with their third movie. Yeah. Okay? So much so that they couldn't even get a third movie out for Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Although, if you've watched Amazing Spider-Man 2, you know exactly why they couldn't get Amazing Spider-Man 3 off the ground.
It would. I think it would have happened if Marvel never came to them.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think it still would have happened.
Yeah, but also, I think if Amazing Spider-Man wasn't so abstractly bad, and also wasn't so obviously a studio movie, then Marvel would never have come to them.
Yeah.
Because it's like a shark smelling blood in the water. There's no blood in the water. The shark isn't going to suddenly go, hey, let's check out this area. Shark's going to be like, there's so much other shit to look at.
Yeah.
Smell blood? Shark's there, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the whole thing with Disney, where they were just like, oh, okay, all right, we can't buy them.
Yeah.
But what if we did a partnership? And you make money off your movies, we make money off our movies. We get a little percent of the first day gross, and you do the same. And that's it. How does that work for you? And then we'll give you the god that is Kevin Feige. And they went, yeah, sure. Yeah, we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah.
We have no idea. Did you see Amazing Spider-Man 2? We have no fucking clue what we were doing at all. Like, what the shit was with Green Goblin? I don't know. But we thought it was a great idea. Oh, man, we're dumb. So, yeah, I kind of half agree with you and kind of don't.
It's tough. I think when the renegotiations happen...
Yep.
Because Disney wanted 50-50.
I know, that's my favorite
someone was
part.
like,
That's my favorite part, that they came back with, well, we'll co-finance.
Yeah.
So we'll put up half the money, you put up the other half. And Sony was already like, well, no, that's never been an issue for us.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and we'll get 50% of the profits. And then they're like, you get 100% of the Spider-Man merchandise profits regardless.
Mm-hmm.
You're making money right now off of Spider-Man while we're conducting this. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Like, even if Disney came back with a reasonable offer, like if they would have said, okay, all right, we'll let you have Kevin Feige again. Okay? We'll renegotiate for 3 more movies. But how about instead of 5% of the first day growth, we get 10%? How about that? I think that's a little more reasonable. Because then they could even say, because we're still making money off Spider-Man, off the merchandise rights. In fact, right now as we speak, we're making money off Spider-Man. Not to be a dick, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All our cards
It's
on the
happening.
table.
It's
All our
happening.
cards on the table.
Right now.
So then Sony can kind of go, and they can go, oh, we'll think about it. We'll think about it. Instead of just being like, get the fuck out of here. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
We're going to give you 50% profits. You put up 50% of your money. Big deal. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Because they know that the next step is, why don't we just buy him?
Do you think we're 20th Century Fox?
Yeah.
We're Sony.
Why don't we just buy
We're big.
Spider-Man?
Yeah. I think if a renegotiation happens, it's going to be not for 50-50.
No.
It's going to be less. And there's going to be stipulations that says we can use Tom Holland and Peter Parker in our movies.
Yeah.
Or, that's fine. Our guys are part of your MCU.
Yeah.
Venom's going in the MCU.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's going to be major...
There has to be. There has to be.
Yeah.
Especially because again, like, and I've said this plenty of times, nobody expected Venom to be the hit that it was.
Yeah.
Nobody. Okay?
Nobody.
Nobody sat there
I
and
do
said...
believe in our last prediction last year, we said that was going to be the biggest superhero bomb of the year.
Yeah, we definitely did. Okay?
Yeah.
We didn't even acknowledge that it was possible that it could be a good movie.
Yeah.
We also didn't acknowledge the possibility that it could have made money. I think we agreed that it might break even, if I remember correctly, but no.
I never took into consideration, China.
Because it was a bomb. Because we thought it was a bomb,
Yeah.
but we thought there was no way it was going to make money. It was going to be a one and done, and we felt bad for Tom Hardy.
Yeah, poor Tom Hardy.
And then...
But it looked good.
We saw the trailers and it looked good.
Yeah.
But then on the strength of Tom Hardy's dual performance, okay, the last, I would say, 3/4 of the movie. The first quarter is the only weird part about the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only part that kind of sticks out like, this doesn't feel like the same movie.
It's that transition, right? Because you got like this body horror thing at the beginning.
Exactly.
And then
it feels like...
it leads into like superhero comedy action type stuff later. But there's that weird transition in between the two.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
like the part where he's in the...
Let's pick a genre, people.
Aquarium and he's taking bites out of the lobster.
Yeah, while swimming in it.
So it's those parts there where you're just like, this is literally where they're like, we don't really know what the fuck we're doing with this movie. And then they just kind of went, let's go black comedy with a little bit of graphic violence. Yeah. Let's do that. And it worked for them.
It worked.
It worked for them immensely. So then, so now Sony's got more weight, and that's, I think, the one thing that fucks Disney up.
Plus, Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, and Into the
Huge money.
Critically
an Oscar for Best Animated Film.
Critically acclaimed and Oscar-winning movie. So you've got 1, 2, then...
I'm pretty sure it was up against 3 Disney movies in that category.
Which is hilarious.
So
absolutely hilarious. And then Spider-Man Far From Home cracks $1 billion.
Yeah. So
Sony's got a lot of weight now, and Disney's not used to having a company go, no, we can say no.
Yeah. We
can walk away. In fact, we can laugh in your face. So, but I do ultimately think that they'll renegotiate, especially because I think that barring the awkwardness, Spider-Man grounded, I guess you could call it. Whatever the fuck they want to call it now.
Yeah.
I think...
Or as Tom Holland said, homeless.
Yeah, homeless. That's the one I was trying to remember. Homeless. So
Spider-Man
homeless. It's funny enough, they should just keep that.
Yeah.
Like, it ties into everything.
And he can't go home because everyone's after him.
He can't go home because everyone knows, or at least believes he's Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Okay? Which is always kind of funny because, like, he was a fucking bad guy, the Mysterio guy.
Yeah.
Like, he gets outed as a bad guy, but then immediately flips it, and he's like, no, I was a good guy. Spider-Man's Peter Parker. You know? That, I think, I don't know if it'll do $1 billion, per se, but it has a really good shot at doing $1 billion. Like, I would say...
It's a hard call.
I would say, like, more so than Captain Marvel 2, this has a better shot at doing another $1 billion, based on the fact that Far From Home did $1 billion. And Far From Home's a really good Spider-Man movie.
How much you want to bet that he ends up in San Francisco and Venom helps him?
I don't want that to happen. I really don't want that to happen.
How much you going to bet now?
I don't want that to happen, even though it probably will. Yeah. But
apparently there is a Tom Holland cut of Venom. He showed up, played Peter Parker in a scene, and Marvel went, nope.
Really?
Yeah. And they had to cut it.
Fuck!
Yeah.
And they couldn't even release it on an extra.
Who said that? I think it was the cinematographer of Venom that said that. No, Tom Holland was there. He shot a scene. He did it. He left. He was just Peter Parker. He wasn't even Spider-Man.
Oh,
and they were like, nope.
Oh, yeah. God. It's fucking Disney. I keep thinking about this Disney shit for so long. Like, when you said that they kept the Fox imprint, my first thoughts were, then why not use the Fox imprint for your more adult fare?
Yeah.
Like Die Hard. Die Hard is not a PG movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The movie lends itself to at least 14A, but it should be rated R. Mm-hmm. It should be rated R for language and violence. And, like, just the adult nature of the subject.
Yeah.
Right? Predator, another one. That's an R movie.
Oh, yeah. You cannot PG. Well, was Predator... Hang on. Is the new Predator PG-13? No, I think it was still R.
Was it?
Oh, PG-13, Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, but again...
But that was a failure.
Those were 2 failures.
Yeah.
The one just didn't fail enough for some reason, they were like, yeah, let's do a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only people that really get killed are, you got aliens deaths and predator deaths, but then you had a couple of douchey human deaths, but they weren't even that gory.
Yeah.
So that's an example right there. Predators, aliens, those franchises
R-rated.
You know?
I hate that all my favorite franchises went to Disney.
I mean, seriously. You can't have a race of alien hunters that will take the spines and skulls as trophies and then go, PG. We'll do it off screen. We'll make the noises. And then you'll visualize that they're ripping the skull and spine out. And then later, when we clean them up, you'll see it. Yeah. So you'll go, they did it.
Nice and white, no blood in sight.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It'll almost look like it's fake. Right? So, anyway, so I feel like those are the imprints that you put these other movies in.
Yeah.
Okay? Because, like, a movie like Die Hard at PG is not going to make $1 billion. Okay? In fact, you'll be lucky if it breaks even at this point, because that's a bit of a tainted franchise.
That's why they want to reboot. Like, it won't have Bruce Willis.
It can't.
That, what was it, year one they were going to do? That's canceled.
It has to be.
That's canceled.
It has to be.
Whether we're going to go back and forth.
It has to be canceled, because even that concept is stupid.
That was pretty stupid.
The whole premise behind John McClane is that he is a regular New York cop.
Yep.
Just a regular New York cop.
That's all he was in the first one.
That's all he was in the second one.
And then he started slowly.
And then it's all he was in the third one, too.
Slowly started to become more Terminator.
No. The distinct switch was 4.0.
Oh.
He was fucking sliding off the side of a goddamn fighter jet.
With a vengeance, though? There were some scenes in that. Oh, I know the... Yes. That's why don't give me that look.
I'm giving you this look.
Don't give me that look.
Because...
I said there was some in With a Vengeance.
Okay, what?
The Tinker part down the sewers where he's like freaking water all over and holding on for his life and lives without a scratch.
He didn't live without a scratch. He was practically bloody that whole movie.
Okay, well, he didn't scratch himself more in that scene.
Okay, that one, I'll follow up that with, I'll counter that with McLean luck.
Oh, okay.
You can't pull you can pull one or two McLean lucks in 4.0, because that is part of the character. This guy gets incredibly lucky.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
But now, I feel like the way they've structured the character is he could be completely naked, strolling through broken glass on the ground, while millions of bullets are firing at him, and he might get a nick on his cheek because a bullet missed him, but his feet would be intact. You wouldn't have the scene where he's like literally talking to Carl Winslow and saying, hey man, you gotta tell my wife that's it. While he's picking glass out of his feet, bleeding out, he thinks it's over. You're not gonna have that scene anymore.
No.
And even if you did, it wouldn't mean anything, because you'd be like, you spent the last 14 movies being bulletproof. I don't give a fuck. So yeah, Die Hard has to be rebooted.
Worst part about the reboot is no more Jay Courtney, though. That's the worst part.
Yeah, that is the absolute worst part. So, again, like, when you see Jay Courtney in other movies where they direct him and he's really good, then you're like, he just has to stop picking shitty directors. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like really has to stop picking shitty directors. Who was the one? Was it Jack Reacher? Yeah, it was Jack Reacher. Yeah, he was good in Jack Reacher. Like, he played like a stereotypical bad guy, but for some reason he was better in that than I'd seen in most movies. Then you watch Suicide Squad and you're like, where the fuck has this guy been? This guy is great. Then you watch Genesis and then you're like, could we have a time machine so I can go back to before I watch Genesis? And never watch Genesis?
Jay Courtney. So
ultimately, while I do think there's going to be renegotiations, and I think ultimately the renegotiations will become amicable. I believe, I'll side with you on this one. I do think that they're going to say, okay, well, no. First of all, we're going to reference Uncle Ben, because we spent the last third movie referencing Uncle Ben. Also, Venom can go in the MCU. We get more characters to use, blah, blah, blah. I think that's ultimately what's going to happen. Especially because the other part that we did not even mention is a lot of this has to do with how well Disney's Marvel movies do in the next phase 2, okay? Because they will have a handful that I think will do $1 billion, but I don't think they'll all do $1 billion. No, I don't think Doctor Strange 2 is going to do $1 billion.
I don't even know if Black Widow's going to do $1 billion.
Black Widow was a tough one too because
it's a tough one.
I want it to do $1 billion, but I also kind of
Plus, there's no setup for Black Widow. They're going to have to really explain the trailer. It's like, because everyone's going to be confused. Why is there a Black Widow movie? She just died.
Yeah. Actually, Michelle said that because she's like, "Did she live?" And I said, "No, she died, but this is a prequel." And she went, "Oh, so we get to see how she became." I went, "Yeah," and she was like really into it. So I was like, "Okay, all right."
Yeah,
but you're right. Like,
they're going to have to show.
Yeah,
something.
But it's going to be something as simple as like before she joined the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
This is her story. It doesn't have to be anything too overt. That's just it, right?
Jeremy Renner's putting together like a Netflix documentary on Black Widow's life.
Are you serious?
That could be the setup for the movie.
That'd be like that the fucking setup for the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
When they did like this mockumentary thing, and I watched the mockumentary,
and
I bought it. I was like, "Holy shit, this is crazy!" And then they're like, "Watch the Blair Witch," and I was like, "This is crazy." Then it came out, and you're like, "Oh, it's fake. Shit." You got me good. You got me real good. Like I still remember that mockumentary, and I was like like I was hooked. Like I was like, because they referenced like the Salem witch trials, which I was very familiar with, and they talked about all this and how it was like in and around that area, and the Blair Witch was the most like horrifying of them, and I was like, oh, like just like they didn't even make it out alive. I gotta watch this movie, and then it's like it's fake, and you're like, you guys got me good. I want to watch the documentary again just because it got me so good.
I don't know if they ever even released that. Maybe it's a special feature on the movie.
It should be. What? It should be. So okay, so that's ultimately where I land.
What do you think? Someone mentioned this online.
Yep.
And it intrigued me. Sony could technically do a live-action Spider-Verse now.
Yep.
They could bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Yep, they could. They could very well do it. They could very well do it.
I'm intrigued by that idea.
I'm not.
You're not?
Nope.
I don't know. I'm intrigued by that idea.
I know a lot of people are. Like, a lot of people are.
I think maybe it's just like, being a fanboy. I want to see that. And not so much, that's a good story idea.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Because it's one of those where, like, I even read that they could kind of have their cake and eat it too, where now they could have Miles Morales be the MCU Spider-Man, and then Tom Holland be the Sony Spider-Man, or vice versa, because I think...
Yeah, does Miles fall under that?
Because Sony...
Well, I mean, Sony used Miles in
Sony owns Miles. Sony owns Miles completely.
Anything Spider-related, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's created today...
But I think they were using that as sort of like a contract type of thing, where they're like, you can use Tom Holland in your MCU, and we'll use Miles Morales in our Sony. Yeah, that's what it was. And I was like, even then, it's too confusing for most people. Like, I'd be able to go, okay, that makes sense. The only drawback is that I like Holland's Spider-Man so much that I was okay with him being in both sides, especially because he was one of the few outside of the Avengers that was largely the same in his own movie. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Whereas, like I've said plenty of times, Doctor Strange in his own movie is a terrible, terrible character. Even when he's like a good guy and he's learning to be a better person, he's still terrible. Then you see him in like 2 minutes of Thor Ragnarok, and you're like, where was this guy?
Yeah.
The Russos get a hand on him, and you're like, this guy's awesome. Same with Tony Stark. Tony Stark was the same thing. I remember, like, I liked him in the first movie.
Yep.
And he was a bit more of a douche in the second movie, but that's kind of the story arc, and you're like, okay, all right. Then as soon as Whedon got him, and it was just like, he became very one note, and it was hard to believe that he would be the guy that would jump on the live grenade. So even when he did at the end, it was cool and stuff, but it just didn't feel as earned. Whereas the Russos get Tony Stark in Infinity War, and immediately you're like, yeah, I could see this guy being the guy that jumps on the, you know what I mean? Like, his whole, like even Age of Ultron, where he's like, a shield, like a suit of armor around the world. You're like, I get it. It just doesn't feel like it should.
Yeah.
But then in the Infinity War, you're like, yeah, okay, like I get it, like it all makes sense, and I actually like Tony. Like even in Civil War is the first time the Russos got a hand on Tony Stark, and immediately I liked him. I understood where he was coming from. At no point did I hate him for the choices that he made. In fact, I felt for him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I was siding with Cap the entire way, which I thought was genius how they were able to do that. And there's no way that Whedon could have done that at all.
No.
Because even if you think about it, all of his characters are one note. Cap, relic from the past, so he makes relic from the past references. But the Russos get him in Winter Soldier, and you see him got a list of things, trying to keep up to date with things, even like making jokes and stuff like that, and kind of give him a bit of an edge where he's like stealing cars, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, okay, like he's a fully fleshed out character, right? Then you watch Age of Ultron, and you're like, what the fuck happened? Now he's saying language in the field? What? Get the fuck out of here!
Language.
The only part that I thought was really cool about Cap in Age of Ultron was the scene where, like, they just got introduced to the Miracles, and Maria is like lamenting about government making monsters and stuff. And he's just like, yeah, the government making monsters as a scientific using science to create monsters. Huh? Couldn't believe they would do something like that. And you're like, he's burning her up because that's him.
Mm-hmm.
That's him in a nutshell. He's just like, just because it's another government doesn't make it any less right or wrong. It's look at me, you know. That was one of the few things where I was like, okay, all right. But anyway. Let's. I don't have anything else to say.
I'm ready for some mutant talk.
Some mutations.
Groovy mutations.
Lowered mutations. Anyway, First Class, X-Men First Class, the beginning of the whatever quadrilogy name you want to subscribe to it is it's a lot of fun.
I'm like one of those Prices Right girls right now.
Yes, you are. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my dislikes.
We'll just do a big pro-con list.
Pro-con list, just like the last time we did this.
Right on.
So, one of the first things that I dislike, even though it was really well done, was the brother-sister relationship of Mystique and Charles Xavier.
Right.
And part of my problem is, of course, there's really no references to it at any point in time. Even though you pointed out the original trilogy, they don't really ever have any sort of...
There's really no interaction.
There's really no interactions. You did argue that because she worked so closely with Charles in the creation of Cerebro, that's how she was able to use Cerebro ultimately to get in the X-Mansion and stuff like that. My counter-argument was Magneto. Because Magneto, they even say in the beginning of in the first movie, the first X-Men movie, they go, he helped me make Cerebro.
Yeah.
And at the time, this movie was supposed to be a direct link to those ones.
Yeah.
That was at the time, and I still feel like, even though with the time travel stuff, it is still a partial link to it.
It is.
But...
Because the story would have started the same regardless.
Yeah, exactly. It would have started the same regardless. It doesn't really
switch roads until halfway through.
That's right. So I would still say no, I don't like the relationship. The relationship doesn't make sense to me, is I guess really what it was. It's almost like even if they had structured it so that Charles meets a young Eric Lyncher and the same thing happens, then they split off, just like even like a school trip or something. He bumps into me, likes me, they realize they're both mutants. I think I would have liked that a lot better. Because then it actually has more weight when they meet later on, and he's like, oh my god, you were the first ever mutant I ever met in my entire life. What's going on with you? And then he's, oh, you're killing Nazis because they killed your... That's fucking heavy, man. That is some heavy shit. I would still just... It wouldn't be like, oh, okay, all right. And you could still do that will they, won't they thing. Will they or won't they sleep together is what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
Because they kind of almost got close to that bromance thing between Charles and Magneto, too.
Yeah.
Where, like, if suddenly it went into, like, a gay porn thing, it wouldn't have been completely out of left field. Except for the sex scenes.
Yeah, Fassbender would be like, McAvoy, what? I'm not McKellen.
And then, They would be like, yeah, but I'm not Stewart, so what the fuck is the difference?
Yeah, what's the big difference?
Anyway, so that's ultimately one of the things that I don't like, even though it was well done for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And just a heads up, you'll notice that that's going to be a theme throughout the rest of the movies, just so you know. The other thing I didn't like was the mind wipe kiss, where he wipes...
Right.
Where Xavier kisses Moira McTaggart and wipes her memory of everything.
Yeah.
Of all the interactions with the X-Men and stuff like that. Mainly because, and I just thought of this now, because I didn't like it when they did that in Superman, where Superman kisses Lois and she forgets everything, right? Partly because, so Moira forgets everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Xavier didn't kiss everybody.
Right.
So everybody in the CIA that signed off on this joint venture with the X-Men to track down Shaw and the Hellfire Club, they forgot too? You notice how they don't reference that part either?
Yeah, because there was a few of them alive still.
Exactly.
A lot of them got cleaned out with Shaw's attack.
A lot of them got cleaned out.
The compound
there's at least 2 or 3 that are still alive that we know of.
Yeah.
Okay? Maybe they got scared into silence because they got to finally, like, I guess it's one thing, like, if you don't really know what mutants are capable of, and then when you finally see that, like, you literally have a mutant that can walk through walls, then you also have a mutant that can actually change their shape, maybe you might be inclined to shut your fucking mouth. Because I guess you could never know who
that is a good point. That is a good point. And I mean, I got nothing really to say. Maybe he hit up the other 3 through Cerebro later on.
Maybe.
Wipe
and
their
then
minds.
Wipe their minds, like took them out on a nice
Maybe.
night.
I don't know.
You know?
Okay.
But,
I'll give you that one, Chris.
Yep. But again, like, these are just things that I didn't like. This doesn't make me go, this is a shitty movie or anything like that. I'll get to the ones that I think are shitty movies. Alex Summers being the older brother, but that's just because of the comic.
That's just a comic thing, yeah.
That's just a comics thing. It's not me like, yeah, but blah, blah, blah.
Significantly older.
Yeah, like, they don't
probably
reference
17,
how much older.
Probably 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, we did the math. We approximated about 17, 18 in first class. So then he would be about 30?
Mid-30s?
Mid-30s.
Well, Scott Summers is what, 14 or so in Apocalypse?
Yeah.
And we figured probably 18 years older than that. So yeah, early 30s.
Early 30s.
Late 20s.
Ages
maybe.
impeccably.
Late 20s.
Ages impeccably.
Yeah, it must be part of the mutant gene because all of them look really great.
None of them age like you think that they would.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not even going to play that card where how is it possible for McAvoy to age into Stewart? I'm not going to play that card because, okay, it's movies. I'm fine with it.
Well, I did see someone put a side-by-side of Fassbender and McKellen saying 1993, 2000, he aged horribly in those 7 years.
That's true. That's true. Well, and that's very much true.
Yeah.
All of them would have aged like that. Like all of a sudden, Scott Summers.
Whoa!
Scott Summers is like a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Now he's like a 34-year-old man in 2000. So like in 8 years.
Puberty hit me hard.
Hits him really hard. But it hits all of them really hard,
yeah.
right? Okay? Because then, like, if we use the new timeline and reference the old timeline, then Famke Johnson or Sophie Turner ages into Famke Johnson. And
my eyes turned brown.
Yeah. Everything about my appearance has changed except for my red hair. That's the only thing that
huge into plastic surgery now. Also, I'm taller. Like, probably a good foot taller.
Wait, Famke Janssen's into plastic surgery?
No, well, she is now, I think. Yeah, she is. I saw a recent interview with her, and I was like, oh, Famke.
Yeah.
Why'd you touch that beautiful face?
I do the same thing. I'm always just like, oh, really? You felt you had to do that?
Yeah. You're so gorgeous. And, I mean, you still are, I guess.
No, that's right. Was it Taken 3? I started to notice.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting she was in the Taken movies.
I remember Taken 3, and I remember just being like, oh. But I think when Taken 3 hit, I think she had, like, just done something.
Just. Because she still looked pretty normal in Days of Future Past at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a recent development.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows what we're going to do when we get older, right?
I probably won't do that.
I like to think that I wouldn't do anything like that, but you never know. I might decide to get hair plugs. We don't know.
Well, okay, I might.
I hope.
I got a lot of hair on my back that could get transferred.
Pretty sure your wife would be like, yeah, do that. In
do
fact,
that.
Whatever you could do to get rid of that. That'd be great.
Curly back hair patch in the top of my head right here.
She'd probably just be like, if you just get rid of the hair itself, I don't even care where you put it.
Just do something with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get waxed before we go on our Florida trip.
Maybe you should just continuously get it waxed.
It hurts though.
Yeah.
You know what? James damaged me mentally and physically when he waxed my back when I was a teenager.
Yeah, well.
Do you remember that story?
I do.
Remember the story? He put the wax in the microwave for like 5 minutes and then immediately dumped it on me.
Oh, yeah.
Melted my flesh.
Oh, yeah.
And then waxes the burn. Like, for fuck.
Oh, the worst part is because you're like, yeah, this is supposed to hurt, so, and then you're like, oh, it's not supposed to hurt that much? Oh. Mm-hmm. You don't take flesh with the hair?
Yeah. Mm.
And I also don't get third-degree burns?
Ah.
James, you and I gotta talk.
Flesh gone. There's some meat there. Let's wax the meat.
I want a refund. Okay,
so
those are my dislikes. And then I guess I'll get to my likes, and then I guess we'll get to you.
Okay, I don't have many dislikes.
Oh,
I mean, I love this movie. I love this movie.
Do you have any dislikes, I guess?
For this one, honestly, no. I don't have any dislikes for First Class. I love the way it played out. I didn't mind the whole Mystique Charles thing. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed all the New Mutants. You know, they weren't really fleshed out, but that's usually how the X-Men movies are.
Well, especially because they
so huge.
They killed them immediately.
Yeah.
They give you that one quick scene of them fleshing themselves out with their powers, and then immediately kills them right after that.
Oh, my negative is January Jones' Emma Frost. That's the only minus I have for this movie.
I forgot, because I have a few more, but I agree.
I love January Jones in pretty much everything.
Yes.
But I feel like here, even though she looks like Emma Frost, like appearance-wise, perfect casting.
Yes.
She wasn't feeling it or something. She did not want to be there.
No, it
was just
to rehash what we said.
Throwaway performance.
I guarantee that she did not want to do this movie,
yeah.
but her agent was like, "You gotta do this movie.
Yeah.
Superheroes are great. You'll make a shit ton of money, and it's awesome." So she said, "Fine, fuck it, I'll do it." And she's terrible in this movie. Part of it is the writing too.
Yeah.
Part of it is the direction as well. But you look at Kevin Bacon as Shaw. He looked at it like, I'll just have fun with this movie.
Yeah.
I'll just have fun doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. He looked like he had fun. That's one of the things I didn't like. I didn't like that Shaw made the Magneto helmet.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that didn't bug me.
Yeah, no, of course it doesn't bug you.
No, because, though, I said he had a telepath with him.
Yeah, no, your argument is fine. Your argument is fine.
What would it be made out of, though?
I don't fucking know.
Adamantium?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Or carbonatium, which is what
it can't be adamantium.
Mega Red was made. His tendrils
were
made.
Because if it was adamantium, then Professor X wouldn't be able to read Logan's mind. So.
Yeah, very much so.
I don't know what it's made out of.
Yeah. But anyway, that's one of those minor gripe type of things. Because, I like the idea that because Magneto worked with Charles on creating Cerebro,
yep.
Which is another reason why I'm I don't buy the Mystique relationship, but I do buy that Charles or Magneto would be like, this is everything you need to know about Cerebro, Mystique, so get in there, right? But I like the idea that he took what he learned from Cerebro to make the helmet, and then basically go, ha ha, Charles, fuck you.
Right,
you ain't getting in here.
Okay.
I get that part. I like that part. It just seems to make more sense for the character, too, that he'd be able to do that. Why? Because he's also the master of magnetism. Be easy for him to make something like that, right?
This could be plastic with chrome paint for all we know.
That's true. That is true. Except that we see him.
He can't see through Legos.
But we do see him move the helmet onto his head.
Right.
Can you do that with chrome paint? Is there enough?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to check on that.
There was another thing that I didn't like.
I
think that's it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. The stuff that I did like.
I love. Okay, well, Brian Singer worked on the story.
Yep.
Matthew Vaughn did the directing.
Yep.
Matthew Vaughn wanted to do an X-Men movie since Last Stand. He was the original Last Stand director.
Yep.
But had to drop out.
Yeah,
so,
that's a shame. What did he do in lieu of that?
Did he do Wanted?
I think
that wasn't Wanted.
No, because Wanted. No.
What did he do? Oh, he did Stardust. He was doing Stardust at the time.
Okay. That's fair enough.
It was around the same
time. Fair enough.
So, but I love how influenced by Grant Morrison's new X-Men film is.
In terms of the visual, like their costumes?
And lots of stuff, right? I mean, costumes, yeah. Emma Frost with the diamond skin.
Which, while like I said, like I don't like the way they designed it as carrots.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being like sheets, like almost like just diamond skin, and just kind of looking like Iceman, for instance. But I think that's probably why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I did like that they included that, even though it made no sense.
Angel, she's in there.
Angel's in there.
That's a new. I was half expecting to see Zorn with all these new. X-Men
but I was gonna say the one thing is like they introduced these characters. Like Angel, I didn't think really needed to be in there. But
is Darwin from Morrison's Run too?
No, Darwin's actually. I think he's a New Mutants character.
Is he? Okay.
He might have been a New Mutants character.
Nicholas Holt's Beast was very cat-like in this.
Yeah.
Totally from
That's
New
right.
X-Men.
That's right. That's right.
Though I did not like the way he looked in this. He was too stiff.
Yep, I agree. I did not.
Too stiff.
I wasn't a big fan of him. I didn't like how his Beast didn't want to be Beast type of thing.
Yeah.
Or like he had the ability to change back and forth. I didn't like that one because again, if we're looking at this as a tie, the only way that it would make me happy about it would have been like if by the end of one of these movies he makes the conscious choice to be Beast. Period. Because then you can tie him up into the Kelsey Grammer character, because Kelsey Grammer's Beast hinted that he had previously worked with the X-Men to some degree. So you could have had him be the, spoiler alert, headmaster by the end of the quadrilogy.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I'll touch upon that more. Actually, yeah, I'll say that for Dark Phoenix. But yeah, so just one of those things. And that's another one that across the board you're going to see me go, I didn't like that he still kind of goes back and forth. I liked...
But again, like you mentioned before on that episode that never happened, he's a pretty guy.
I understand why they did
They want to show the pretty guy.
I understand why they
Same with Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, I get it completely. Like,
I bet you Rebecca Romaine's like, what the fuck? She spent 50% out of makeup? I had to do all of makeup.
I was in makeup. I was out of makeup for 3 whole minutes across the entire franchise.
I had to get cured to not be in blue makeup.
The scene in X2, where she maxed on.
In X2,
so I think 3 minutes total.
Yeah, probably 3 minutes total.
Across 3 movies.
Yeah. She
got to look like Rebecca Romaine, right? But I understand why. You're right. Like, because it's Nicholas Hoult, because he's an attractive dude, they were like, fuck that shit. Is he going to look like a beast? No.
We're paying for that face. We're not putting blue fur on it.
But I did like that he became the Beast because he was trying to cure his mutants. The gene, right? Because it's very much like in the comic books where he literally just looked like a fucking football player who just also happened to have like ape hands for feet.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the same thing. He was trying to cure his mutant gene, and then ends up making it worse. But he was always one of my favorite characters because he just kind of went, okay, well, I'm this now, and then tried to make the best of it. And I always thought that was kind of cool, and I wish we would have saw something like this.
Yeah. But
other than that, like, I mean, the casting is phenomenal. That's one thing I'll say. The casting is phenomenal, except for January Jones, like we had just mentioned. Shaw was great.
Her casting would have been phenomenal too if she would have just put the effort.
Yeah, or you know what?
Because I look at her there, and that looks like John Cassidy's art of Emma Frost.
Yeah, it's
like that's Emma Frost. Yeah,
like in terms of visual casting, they did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
you know. I like that Moira was re-envisioned as a CIA agent.
Loved it.
And wasn't like a biologist like she was in the comic books, or is in the comic books, I guess technically, whatever she is now. But I thought that was really cool, and I liked how she was investigating the Hellfire Club and inadvertently stumbles upon mutants.
Yeah.
And then
very cool introduction
upon
for her.
Professor X and the X-Men, and they have that joint effort with the CIA. Which
plus it's Rose Byrne. I always love Rose Byrne.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Rose Byrne is just great. Like, I remember when I first saw her in Get Him to the Greek.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I was like, first of all, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But she's not, I don't think she's gorgeous in the sense that, like, she's, like, drop dead or anything like that. There's just something about her which I feel elevates her look, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, right away when I started getting into the Greek, I was like, okay, so she's got a really funny thing, and she's in Bridesmaids, and I was like, oh, okay, so you start to see her more and more things. Now you see her in this, and she's doing like an actual serious role. She's doing really great. She's actually a really good actress.
Oh yeah,
who should do more than just comedies. I feel
fantastic. She was.
I'm not saying she just does comedies.
Yeah, she's great in these.
Oh yeah,
Insidious movies.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Like,
I've heard nothing but good things.
I love those. They're like today's poltergeist movies.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But I like that's the thing they're going with. I referenced it earlier, but I love the relationship between Charles and Eric, because that's one of those things where you have to land that part.
Because that was the big thing with the recast, right? Was Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are friends in real life. They have amazing chemistry.
The chemistry is off the charts.
How are you going to duplicate that with a younger cast?
Yeah.
And somehow...
who aren't like friends in real life.
Yeah, somehow James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender nailed it.
I wouldn't say somehow, because again, like we're talking about two great actors.
I don't think they're probably friends now, but at
I would say
start,
they're definitely friends now. They're definitely friends now, but at the beginning, maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just one of those like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
So that's really great. I liked that Magneto is the reason why Xavier can't walk. Like, he bends the bullet into him, which was visually cool. But also just one of those, like, because you go, well, how did he get like that? Like, how is it that he can't use his legs, right?
Yeah.
And especially because leading up to that, you got to see a side of Charles Xavier where he's kind of a cat. He's kind of like using his powers to bang women. Yeah. And I say kind of. What I mean is he's definitely doing that. He is definitely 100% reading
it's a groovy mutation.
Reading chicks' minds to bang them. And I think it's kind of funny that like Mystique is cock-blocking him in those regards.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of funny because you're like, it makes sense that she'd be like, okay, buddy, like you're cheating. Yeah. This isn't really fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Mutation's groovy. Like, what the fuck?
Like full-on Austin Powers.
Yeah, so... and I also kind of like to see him start to become closer to the Eric, or the Xavier that we all know and love.
Yeah, he's got quite the character arc throughout the beginnings.
Especially because, like, the hard part is again, like, this is like... These characters are right up there with Spider-Man in the sense that, like, I grew up loving these characters. So Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, the X-Men, those are the ones that I grew up. And of course with Spider-Man or Batman, it's always the Splinter characters.
Yeah.
Captain America is, like, one of my favorite characters now, okay? But it took the first Avenger for me to really be like, yeah, he's one of my favorite heroes. Mm-hmm. But up until then, it was those core. Same with Daredevil. Daredevil was one of my favorites, but that was after I had to read Man Without Fear. I had to read that.
Yep.
But then, you get to the TV show, which is why I'm wearing red, to be honest. I am tying it up with the Robin watch.
Oh, yeah.
Just for continuity's sake.
Because you don't have a Daredevil watch in your collection.
Because I don't. But yeah, because I'm on episode 5 of season 2 now of Daredevil again.
Yeah.
The show is amazing. Like, it's so fucking good. But now he's like one of my favorite heroes, but because of that show, right? So it's hard to watch movies like this and not feel proprietary.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, I don't, what are you doing? Like, luckily for them, most of these characters that they kept are ones that I've grown up with, I love and stuff like that. But there is a bit of weariness with one particular character that I found as I rewatched this, that I got to a point where I was like, okay, but I'll say that for a little bit later in the run.
Okay.
Overall, despite likes and dislikes, I really like this movie.
Yeah.
The changes that they did to the mythos work for the most part.
It's tons of fun. I love the music. I love the 60s setting. Great set pieces in this, like the submarine, the first shot with the sub where Eric's getting pulled underwater, and then later on where he pulls the fucking sub right out of the water.
Because Charles helps him to get stronger, and then so it goes from that scene where he's almost, because I forgot to mention, one of my favorite parts about this whole movie is Eric pulling a Hannibal Rising, and he's now going after the Nazis that killed his family. Mm-hmm. And that's ultimately why he is going after Shaw, because Shaw killed his mom.
Yeah.
Okay? And not only did Shaw kill his mom, but Eric couldn't kill him when he was a kid. So I thought, okay, that's a really great storyline, like a backstory for Magneto. And then the way he kills these Nazis, like in that bar, in Brazil.
Yeah.
Just incredible. But even the fact that like he's using the coin that killed his mom in the first place, right? He's using that as a strength type of thing.
Yeah, that friggin' Nazi coin.
The Nazi coin. But then like, so it gets to that. So Shaw's on this submarine and he's descending and Magneto is trying to stop him from descending and he's actually going to drown because he's getting pulled with it. Xavier later helps him and then helps him get stronger.
Yeah.
So now when he takes that submarine out of the fucking water, it's incredibly epic as a visual, but it's also incredibly epic from a character standpoint because you're like, holy fuck!
Yeah.
You know? And the whole fight scene in the submarine is great because, like, whatever material that the helmet was made out of, they mass-produced to get the whole room to be made out of, and then as the cracks start to show, that's where Charles can get in. And then that's where he ultimately helps, and they, oh man, like
the coin slowly going through Sebastian's head, just like watching it go in, and then a little bit of blood at the back.
Yeah,
and the coin comes out.
I was like, oof, that is fucking crazy cool.
Like that is badass.
You know, like
that
so.
Is badass.
Yeah, it might seem like there's a lot of dislikes.
That whole final thing on the island was just awesome.
It was absolutely awesome. It was so awesome. Plus, they had the bitchin' like blue and white, yellow suits.
Yeah.
Which always reminded me of the Shadow King run in the early 90s. Because when I first started reading X-Men comic books, the first comic I got was it was the Shadow King Massacre, or whatever the fuck it was called. And so you had, I was I knew who Wolverine was, but I was introduced to Jubilee and Gambit. And they were wearing those yellow and blue suits. And I was like, whoa, that's so weird. And then, of course, the X-Men run with Jim Lee, I was like, okay, they're in the costumes that I recognize and stuff like that. Some of them were updated. This looks really cool. But it was just one of those, like, whoa, what is happening here? So to see that, and also kind of be, like, Morrison influenced with the suit design, I was like, oh, okay, this looks really, really cool. So overall, like, it's a great X-Men movie.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely great X-Men movie. A lot of fun, a lot of really cool stuff that they did. So much so that, like I said, like the dislikes don't kill the movie for me.
Like great Hugh Jackman cameo.
That's my favorite.
Or
go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. And that was it.
That was it. And they didn't even do anything. They just went, okay.
Yeah.
They didn't say a word. They weren't like, are you sure? They were like, talk to this guy later.
Yeah.
But again,
we'll see you around.
It's certain things like this, though, that like later when I watch these movies or when I reference the originals, I'm like, yeah, but like, wouldn't Xavier recognize him?
But he does in Days of Future Past.
In Days of Future Past, he does.
Yeah, which is the next movie.
Yeah, but that's a retroactive thing. They retroactively did that.
Okay.
I'm talking about the original trilogy.
The original trilogy.
Yeah. They do it. They do enough of those links where it's like, you know, and even because if you go, yeah, but like that's a different timeline because of Days of Future Past, it's like, well, you could say that, but Days of Future Past follows into the X-Men 2000 and then beyond. So like that's their circle, right?
I got nothing.
It's times like that where they do those things where I go, okay, but you know. But overall, great movie. Enjoy it.
Great movie.
Speaking of Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah. Hey, look at that.
Hey. Also, Road Cut.
Yes.
Hey.
Which I have yet to see since.
Hey.
But after you told me about it, I was like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to rewatch the movie because I just watched it. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what I say. You don't have to rewatch it. I just fast forward. Even if you go to the scene selections, it probably shows you where it kicks.
Yeah.
out.
Oh, more than likely.
Yeah. But Days of Future Past. Bryan Singer's return to the franchise.
Yep. Yeah, you could tell. You could tell. Not to say that Matthew Vaughn is not a capable director, but Singer's got his own style.
Yeah.
And it's a style that surprisingly works really well with the X-Men universe.
Mm-hmm.
But I think part of it is because, like he had made his name with Usual Suspects, and then what did he do in between? Apt Pupil. That's right.
And I think that was it.
Yeah, it was Apt Pupil, and that got a lot of rave reviews. Plus, he worked with Ian McKellen.
Yep.
And then from there, it was the X-Men movies. But he does have his own distinct style. Like, even so, like, when I was watching Valkyrie, and I was like, you know, if I didn't know it was a Bryan Singer movie, but I was familiar with his work, I would go, yeah, that's Bryan Singer. You can tell. But anyway, so he comes back. Couple of things that I have to rejigger for my dislikes.
Rejigger away.
Yeah, for one of my dislikes was Frost is never mentioned again. She is, but not overtly.
No, if you look away during that scene.
Yeah, like it's one of those like it's on scene of deceased mutants.
Yeah, Mystique pretends that she is Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Goes into his office.
Trask.
Goes into his office, pulls out the file like all deceased.
Yeah. Deceased
mutants
mutants
that he was testing on
that they're using to
and that's when we find out that
sentinels.
Emma's dead.
Yeah.
What's his name? Azazel's dead.
Yeah.
Angel's dead.
Yeah.
Banshee's dead.
Yeah.
He tested on all 4 of those.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, while I was gonna say, like, I didn't say this in the First Class stuff. I liked that at the end of First Class, Emma joins up with Magneto.
Yeah,
that was great. I was like, okay, all right, because essentially she's attaching herself to strong mutants.
Mm-hmm.
So she attached herself to Shaw because he's a strong mutant. He gets killed by Magneto, so she goes, oh, okay. And then, of course, because Magneto is all about the mutants shall inherit the Earth, fuck everyone else, which is a character trait that they don't do enough of with this trilogy. Which is another reason why, like, tying into it doesn't always work, especially, like, up until this point. After this, with the other 2 movies, it's a different timeline, so okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm okay, like, it's a little bit more acceptable in that sense, especially because after we've already done this. So you've kind of changed my mind a bit here. So I agree, yeah, there's aspects where I can go, okay, all right. But up until this point, because this is explicitly stated, 2 things. One, part of this character ends up being Ian McKellen, and the other part is the new version.
Yeah.
The stuff that's supposed to lead into Ian McKellen, especially because of this here, he would be more of a, no, we're mutants.
Yeah.
We are Homo sapiens, Homo superior. For a reason, I don't give a fuck, right? But so it would make sense that Frost would be like, yep, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks that it's one of those, like... And this, I guess, lends credence to us thinking that January Jones never wanted to do this movie in the first place, because she doesn't even get, like, an actual death scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
She gets a, oh no, she's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, did you blink and you missed that?
She's gone.
Well,
gone.
Just so you know, she's dead.
It's unfortunate they killed Banshee, though, because I really liked him in First
Yeah,
Class.
I agree, especially because he's a long-tenured character that took a long time for him to get killed off, and then I think they brought him back again, but...
Most likely.
Still, it was just one of those... Plus, I liked his visual. Like, when Jim Lee drew him, and, like, he was... well, he's like Jim Lee character, so he's, 6'4", 220 pounds of muscle, but he just looked cool with his, green and yellow outfit for some reason. Colors that don't normally work for a hero, but,
He rocked them.
Yeah. Plus, they always wrote him with an Irish accent.
Yeah.
So even if you didn't know he was Irish, you would know that he's not English, like American, because of the way they wrote him. But you catch things like Me Boyo, and you're like, I think he might be Irish.
They didn't touch on that, right? He was very American in that.
Well, then again, Emma Frost was very American. She was not British.
So was Moira McTaggart.
And yeah, she wasn't even Scottish.
No.
Or I think she's Scottish.
She's Scottish.
And they don't do that with her. They don't even give her a British accent, which I think is what her normal tongue is.
Yeah.
So it's aspects like that where I kind of go, because it...
But again, that's only stuff that's really going to bug the comic fans, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, that's an easy way to include a ton of people.
Yep.
Instead of basically saying that for the most part, aside from Charles Xavier and Magneto, mutants are American.
Yeah, or Canadian.
Yeah. But, like, especially with Magneto, if you didn't know that he was, like, if they didn't reference the Polish refugee stuff, you would never know. Mm-hmm. Because he doesn't really speak with an accent or anything like that.
Yeah.
You would almost assume he's American.
Yeah, I like Fassbender in this had to switch up the way he talked as Magneto because Ian McKellen was in it with him.
That's true.
So, like, in the First Class, he did his own thing.
Yep.
Here, he changed his voice a bit to sound more like McKellen.
He had to.
He had to.
He had to, and I thought,
And I think
but that was smart though that they did that.
and it's really good too, like the plane scene
Yes.
where he's freaking out and the plane's just caving in and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was like, it sounds kind of McKellen-ish.
Yeah, exactly. That was I liked that. I didn't like. You know what? I'll just go through all my.
Go through this.
So I didn't like that Mystique ends up becoming Stryker at the end of the movie and then picking up Wolverine, and because immediately I was like, well, what happens now? And then they don't reference it ever again.
They don't, and that bugged me too, just because of where we see Wolverine in Apocalypse. If it was the real Stryker, we would have understood why he's where he's at in Apocalypse.
Exactly. It would make sense because it makes no sense that Mystique, as Stryker, would then take him to the Weapon X program.
Yeah.
Right? Even though, if you watch the Origins, the way that they tell of the Weapon X program is different than how they talk about it in Apocalypse. Because in Apocalypse, they do it like it is in the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's constantly being brainwashed so that he can be their weapon. And then eventually, even though Jean helps him, but eventually he heals his brain.
Yeah.
His brain just resets itself because it's like, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So we gotta reset everything, heal, so you don't remember fuck all. That's it. Right? Start from scratch, go from there. Right? But yeah, so like, and the worst part is it's never referenced again in either timeline. And this is where I was saying, like, part of the problem with Apocalypse, even though I really like it, Apocalypse is saying, like, yeah, we're trying to reference movies in a different timeline and make it seem like it isn't. But I guess you could say that because it's a different timeline, that's why they have it closer to the comic books for the Alkali Lake stuff.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I go, okay, yeah, I can see that. But it just felt like, and I love Apocalypse, but it felt like they were just trying to have their cake and eat it too by saying, no, I know we're distancing ourselves from the original trilogy, but we're still pretty close to Wolverine. Remember him? He's cool. But yeah, so that part, I didn't like that there was really no explanation of Kitty Pryde being able to phase people through time. It's just, she just does it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Grant Morrison did later stage
Second Mutations, that's
what it was.
And
with Beast and with Emma Frost.
It's been enough time between Last Stand and this where maybe...
And you could argue that, but again, say it.
Yeah.
Just say it. By the way, I've been able to phase people through time. I don't know how I can do it either. I can just do it. Simple as that. I don't even need to know how she does it. She just figured out that she could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then even having Xavier just feel like we've been noticing, second stage mutations.
Yeah.
Like even when he bumps into any one of these other mutants, like Bobby, for instance, you could be like, have you experienced any second stage mutations or something to that effect? I don't need everything laid out, but at the same time, you can't just do stuff for the sake of doing it, right? But anyway, so I didn't like that, even though it was really cool. And it was cool to have her in it and have her have a part to be in this movie.
I think that was the thing, too. Like, I think a lot of it was Ellen Page coming back meant she had to have a role that meant something.
Yeah, exactly, and especially because
Which
they
is understandable,
didn't cut her scenes.
Like,
at all. But they cut entirely Rogue scenes.
Rogue was cut out completely.
Like, I remember when I heard that, and I was like, oh, wow, she came back too, and then, like, it's like, oh, yeah, all her scenes were cut. And I was like, then what the fuck was the point?
Yeah.
What was the point?
I'd be pretty annoyed.
And they cut it for time, and it's not like, because we did this.
It was 11 minutes.
11 minutes extra.
By doing the Rogue cut, it's only 11 minutes longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
Do the Rogue cut.
Yeah. So.
What else did I not like? I didn't like that the ending suggests a link to the original trilogy, but that was before we talked about it. And it makes sense because this is a cap on the original trilogy. And a part of it was that, like, because you had mentioned that, okay, but now we diverge. So one is an ending.
Yeah. So
the 2023 timeline happens as it should.
Mm-hmm.
But their sense of time travel is by creating a different timeline.
Yeah. And
then this timeline is where the new stories take place.
Yeah.
So now I'm
timelines.
Like, okay, all right, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because you're right. Because we have 4 timelines. We got the Deadpool timeline. We got the Logan timeline.
Logan would be a continuation at the end of this.
That's right.
Right.
This
So,
X-Men and Logan
the original
timeline.
trilogy is in its
Yeah.
own timeline now that would have ended the way this
That's right.
starts.
That's right. Then you've got, after this, you got the Apocalypse Stark Phoenix timeline.
Yeah.
And what was the fourth one again?
There's okay, so there's the original, and then it branches off into the 2000 and the Apocalypse. So it's 1, 2, and then it goes.
Well, the original can't diverge at Apocalypse. It diverges at Days of Future Past.
Yeah, but I mean, it continues into Apocalypse. That's where that.
So First Class
one goes into
timeline diverges from Days of Future Past.
Right.
So that at one point it'll lead into the 2000 X-Men.
Yeah.
Then Logan.
Yeah.
And then the ending of 2023, that period there.
Right.
And then you're right, it dovetails into the Apocalypse Stark Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's right.
So then 2000 would have continued in its own timeline, right? How did we do it? How did we do
I
it
can't remember
in
how
that episode that no one saw?
I don't remember how you did it.
Anyways, there's a shit ton of timelines.
Yeah.
But I get that as a comic fan. The regular viewer is just going to be really fucking confused.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Michelle was kind of like questioning things, right?
Yeah,
And I know
exactly.
Adrian did too. So.
And but luckily, like, it got to a point where I've said it enough times where like especially because you watch X-Men Last Stand,
yeah,
and then you watch X-Men Apocalypse,
yeah,
or you watch X-Men 2 and X-Men Apocalypse, and then you're just like, wait, so they met them before? And then she's like, oh yeah, that's right, different timelines. Then she goes, okay, all right. So it doesn't like mean she likes any of these movies any less,
yeah,
or any more. It's just that extra little bit of, oh right. So it's like, okay, so what else? Yeah, so at least we can confirm at least 3 different timelines. So now it's like, okay, all right, as long as you can go from there, right? What did I like? Again, the cast I thought was absolutely incredible.
Great cast.
Everybody's firing at all cylinders.
They brought everybody back from both series.
Nobody feels like they're just phoning it in because they no longer want to be in these movies, which becomes prevalent later on.
Mm-hmm.
Almost immediately, actually, after this movie. The costume, the future costumes, the characters, the ones that they used, like Blank and Bishop, even just the older versions of these characters, I thought looked amazing.
The costumes as a whole are really great.
Yeah, generally the costumes as a whole are really, really, really great.
I
really
mean,
cool.
You got a little bit of blue and yellow in Wolverine this time around.
Yeah, but you also got brown,
nice.
like the actual fucking costume.
Yeah.
You know? And again, like, just once I'd like to see him wear the mask, but I'm okay with him never wearing the mask.
Yeah.
Like, even in the new X-Men for Marvel and Disney or whatever, if he never wears the mask, I'll be okay with it.
He'll wear the mask, and then he'll not wear the mask for the rest of it.
But again, at this
kind
point,
of the thing, right? Like Captain America.
I think at this, but again, like with Cap and Iron Man,
like Thor, he wore the helmet. Like,
well, Thor wearing the
once?
helmet for like the first scene and
Once?
then never again actually still makes me mad because it looked really good.
It looked great.
Like, instead of looking goofy, it
Yeah.
looked cool. It also helped make him look like a fucking warrior badass that he should have. And especially because it's all open.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they include a version of it in Ragnarok.
During the battle with
During
Hulk
the battle
in
scene,
the arena,
because it's all open faced, he could be wearing it and never ever have to worry about taking it off to emote. Because I understand that's why they do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man and Spider-Man, demasking for emotion scenes are fine. I get that. I understand that. Because in comic books, you can emote with like different eyes and stuff like that. Cap, same thing, because it's a helmet, which I love that they made it a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they made it a helmet. It makes sense that there would be times where he's taking it off because he's just like, fuck, man, like, I just got to get out of this thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it also helps him emote, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, what was it, Civil War, that end sequence, he never takes it off until after? I don't think he takes it off at all, in fact.
No.
He keeps it on, and yet you still feel the emotion.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, so I actually feel like if they're going to do that, then don't make him wear the helmet. you know,
Mhm.
or the mask, or whatever, however you want to do it. And again, because a lot of the characters we're talking about aren't concerned, they don't need to be concerned with the secret identity.
Yeah.
Spider-Man bugs me because, well, he's still a kid. It's still a part of his identity that he's trying to hide it.
Yeah.
So then when he strolls into a compound with SHIELD agents without his mask on, I'm like, I feel like he should be keeping it on, and I feel like it's sloppy that Fury would be like, no, it's cool. Everybody knows who you are. It's totally cool.
Take it off.
But they all work for me.
Yeah.
And nobody ever
Everyone here
infiltrates
is
SHIELD.
trustworthy.
Nobody has ever infiltrated
This
SHIELD.
Quentin guy that I met 24 hours ago, totally trustworthy. Show me your identity.
Yeah.
Do it.
Although I think it's kind of funny, though. He gets so mad at Peter for giving him the glasses, but it's like, you trusted him too, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You trusted him too with my identity.
Yeah.
So between that and the fact that I thought he was cool, I gave him the glasses. Thought it was a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, before we get... Quicksilver jailbreak scene.
Oh, so good. So good.
Absolute highlight of the movie for me.
Yeah.
Because it's so
The way it's
fucking
shot,
incredible.
it's just entertaining. It's funny as hell. Just the way he's setting stuff
And it
up.
makes perfect sense. Like I said in the previously recorded video, it was one of those things where I've always kind of wanted to see that because I always pictured like a superhero battle scene between, say, Superman and Zod, where humans are looking at it and all they see are blue and black streaks in the air, and they're feeling the ramifications, but they're barely making anything out because these guys are super fast. And then when you cut to them, they're fighting in real speed, but everything else is almost frozen in slow-mo because they're fighting so fast that you'd be like, holy fuck. So like when I saw stuff like this in this scene in particular, I was like, that's how we're going to see like super fast scenes moving forward. The Flash TV show is very much into that, where they do a lot of like, they do it where he's also moving a bit slower so you can see it better.
Yeah.
But they do show you aspects where it's all fast and everyone else is moving so slow. And you're like, yeah, it makes perfect sense that that's how it happened. So that was incredible, incredibly choreographed, smart all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just so good. Yeah, I can't say enough about it. Especially, like, I mentioned the cast, but this guy, who they got for Quicksilver?
Evan
or
Peters.
Peter, sorry.
Yep.
He was so good. I also love this scene where, like you mentioned it, they touch upon the fact that he's moving these guys by their neck. So that there's
so
no
they won't
whiplash.
get whiplash. And then their faces are all blown.
Yeah.
Like Magneto looked like he was going to vomit when Quicksilver stopped.
Exactly. But I also love him slowly piecing together that Magneto's his dad.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great, you know? Like, I mean, overall, so as much as the potential headaches around this movie, this is an excellent return to form.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was me going like, okay, all right. My only thing... Actually, no. In this case, when Magneto does the flip-flop, it makes sense in character.
Yeah.
Because he's like, no, I'll work with you guys. And then go, no, now I'm going to take over. Because it works within his character. It's just a shame that they almost do a retread every single time after this. Where I get really tired of that. But that's it. That's what I got.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah, no, the entire new cast members are great.
Oh, yes.
So we got Bishop, Blink, Warpath, Sunspot. They're all in there.
Yep.
Looking awesome.
Absolutely awesome.
Like,
absolutely awesome.
We don't really know anything about them because they're not in it for long.
Nope.
But they look like the characters.
That's the kind of fan service that's genius, because I go, man, I love Blink. Like, Blink's one of my favorite characters from Age of Apocalypse. Also, if you haven't heard, one of my favorite X-Men storylines ever. And Bishop was always one of my favorites, partly because of the animated show, and partly because of the stuff he did with the early Jim Lee run and stuff like that. Like, visually, he looked really cool. That militant, old school blue and yellow type thing, where you're just like, oh, that's calling attention to the previous
the red
stuff.
Scarf.
And then, like, the M for mutant, where you're just like, this is a dark timeline, right? But even later, when they make him a bad guy, and he's the one that's trying to kill Hope Summers, and that whole, like, 13-issue run, their first initial run of Cable, is cat and mouse. They're jumping through time, and Bishop is trying to stop Cable and ultimately kill Hope, and it's just like, this is incredible stuff. And I think he's a good guy again now.
He is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know
remember.
how he became a good guy.
Yeah, I
again.
can't remember how either. But I remember just being like, how do you bounce back from trying to kill a kid? And especially because, like, she's alive, so wouldn't she just be like, oh yeah, you're the fucking asshole that tried to kill me? And he's just like, don't worry about it. It's okay, I'm cool now. Hey.
He started his own 12-issue series too in early 2000s for Marvel Knights called District X, and that was friggin' really good.
Yeah.
For like a neighborhood, in New York, I guess.
It was the
like
final 187 mutants that were still alive.
After House of M,
Yeah, all living in this district.
One area, and he was the cop.
The sheriff, so to speak.
Yeah, he went around solving all these mutant-on-mutant crimes.
Yeah.
Human-on-mutant.
That was a run I wanted to check out because the premise is just so cool.
Very cool. That was a really good story. But yeah, it was cool seeing him. They all looked great.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, it looks so good.
Oh yeah.
And they worked as a team. Like, this is the first time I felt like I was watching an X-Men movie.
Yes.
Like they all feel like X-Men movies, and you see a little bit of teamwork. But
that's right.
This, like, the entire opening 15 minutes, is just teamwork against the Sentinels.
Exactly. But even still, like, you have the back and forth teamwork between 2023, 1963. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, wow. Even though the ages start to get crazy if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff I realized, like, even after we've talked about this previously, was that a lot of this is, the really good movies is as long as you don't think about them too much.
Yeah.
You know, like, I start piecing them and tearing them apart, and then I start to go, okay, all right. So it's like...
So you put the ages together, like Magneto and Professor X in 2023 are like in their 80s.
Yeah.
They're fucking old.
They're fucking old.
They're fucking old.
You know, but it's like, again, you just kind of have to go, like, okay, so don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just enjoy it on their own merits.
Yeah.
I will admit it gets harder for me when I get to Dark Phoenix. It's really hard for me to enjoy that movie on its own merits. We'll touch upon that when we get to that. So I have nothing else to add.
What else? John Ottman returns to do music.
Yep.
He did X2 with Bryan Singer.
Yep.
So that was great because it really made it feel like old school X-Men again.
Exactly.
Just the music alone, you get that
You
get that awesome Professor X talking at the beginning, and the crazy CG sequence, and then the title, and then the X door closing.
Yeah.
Like, that's X-Men. Like, when I see that, that's the same as the James Bond thing. You know, James Bond does his little thing.
It feels like...
When I see that, okay, here we are, X-Men.
It depends with the James Bond stuff, because I liked that you didn't have that until the end of Casino Royale.
Okay, yeah, because that was... But they didn't have it at the beginning of First Class either. They had the coin flipping because there was no Cerebro yet.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It all works.
Which I liked. What else? Yeah, so this continues right off the end of the Wolverine.
That's right.
So we don't really get an explanation of how the Animanium came back to his claws.
No, you don't get that at all. But
whatever.
Okay.
It was just something I overlooked.
I dug that he had the bone claws in this.
Right away I saw it and I was just like, But the bone claws being back in the 70s.
In the 70s, I was like, cool. I like that he had the bone claws there.
He's just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got these again.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they also don't ever... It kind of would be nice to see if he broke his claws at least once. Because I remember that was a thing, like in the comic books, where he would occasionally break the bone claws.
Yeah, well, Sabretooth snapped in
Origins.
But yeah, no,
But again, like I said, if you watched The Wolverine and saw that Stinger scene and you were like, whoa! And then you watch this and you're like, whoa! Then you immediately go, how'd you get more adamantium for the remaining claws that no longer had adamantium? I don't understand. Maybe I shouldn't think about it.
I don't know. I was like, maybe he popped the bone and Magneto recovered the bone.
Yeah, like, I mean, okay.
I
guess adamantium you can have in abundance in 2023 because the Sentinels are made from adamantium, so maybe when they destroyed adamantium, Sentinel, they went, hey, Magneto, what about... And he went, way ahead of you, Wolvie. Yeah. Way ahead of you.
Way ahead.
We're just boiling it up now. Remember how painful it was? He's like, no, I don't, because I don't remember much of that life. Oh, that's right. That's right. Anyway, so are we at Apocalypse?
That's all I got. Rogue cut, though. You want to see Rogue? Really good cut.
Oh, yeah.
It totally changes, like, the last 3/4 of the movie.
Let's actually, I want you to talk about it.
In the future. Because in this cut, Wolverine, when he's flailing around there during the
what were they in, like a Congress
They
meeting
were like
or
in
something?
this, Senate meeting or
Senate meeting or something. And then we see that part where Wolverine kind of like he's fading in and out between.
Well, because this is that crucial part where they're trying to stop Mystique from killing the Senator.
Exactly.
Which ultimately gives Trask the weapon or the ability to go, no, let's do the Sentinels, which leads to 2023.
Yeah.
But then because now Wolverine is almost like fighting with this.
Yeah, because he sees Stryker. And now his memories are flipping.
Yeah, so he's going back and forth, which I thought was actually really cool.
Yeah.
And then it also gives that whole thing where, so they actually can't change the future. They can create a different timeline, but they can't change their future, which I thought, like now when we talk about it, I'm like, that's actually really cool because now they're kind of going like, okay, all right, so we're finished. Our timeline is done, but we can at least create another timeline. So what happens is, so instead of killing the Senator, mutants get outed on public TV, like on national TV, because Mystique's like thrown out a window.
Yeah.
And in broad daylight, you got this blue redheaded chick now, like looking like no one's ever seen before.
And the way they shot that, like old
on
TV
cameras,
footage,
like actual like TV footage.
I thought that was really cool.
That was a great idea.
Really,
it was
really
genius,
cool.
actually, because it's just like everyone's iPhones now.
And it's kind of creepy though. Like I imagine watching that at home in the 70s. And seeing that, and it'd be eerie, it'd be creepy. It's like the scene in Signs.
Yes.
Where Joaquin Phoenix is walking and the alien goes by.
Yeah.
Like, and just think about that. I got goosebumps.
Exactly. Like, just those random scenes where like everyone's like by the field or whatever, then they just kind of look, the alien's just standing there, like, what the fuck? Or even like that old school Bigfoot footage.
Yeah.
Where he's just strolling along.
Yeah.
You're just like...
You see that and you're like, it's probably a guy in a suit, but there's just something really eerie.
There's something gritty about it that you're like, but it might be real.
It might be real. And it just
is creepy enough, right? So yeah, like that's really cool. Plus there's that really awesome Magneto Beast fight scene.
That's such a good fight.
Because Beast is killing him. He's absolutely killing him.
Oh yeah, he's drowning him. Like he knocks his head, there's blood in the water.
Yeah,
like,
he's killing him, but as he's doing it, like the fucking steel rods are coming around.
Yeah.
I was like,
grabbing
that is
him.
Great. And then they grab him off. I was like, whew, that's so fucking cool.
So
cool. Anyway, so now Wolverine is fighting this.
He's fighting it. He's flipping back and forth. So now in the future, his claws are popped. He's flailing around. He stabs Kitty.
Ugh.
He stabs Kitty, and Kitty's like holding on to him, but she's bleeding out. She's in pain. She's screaming, and they don't know what they're going to do because if they let go of him, everything's fucked.
Yeah,
like nothing's going to change.
Exactly.
So Professor X and Magneto go, well, we know we can get Rogue. It's going to be hard, but we can get her. They haven't got her yet because of how difficult it's going to be.
Right.
She's in the original X Mansion that's guarded by Sentinels, where they're experimenting.
That visual must have been amazing.
Yeah. Oh, it's
like
so
I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch it just because I have
to,
just to see it, just because that would be crazy.
Yeah.
And then to see them like bust her out.
And Bobby goes with them.
Of course.
So Professor X stays back in the plane because he was flying the plane. Magneto and Bobby go in. They get her out, but as they're getting out, there's a Sentinel attack on them. Bobby says, "Get her out of here, go!" And he's fighting the Sentinel. Bobby dies.
Yeah.
But they get out of there, barely. A Sentinel's on the plane. And it's pretty awesome. You see Professor X doing some cool plane moves to try to get the Sentinel off. They get him off, and then Rogue goes back, takes over from Kitty, says, "Hi, Logan," and she's holding him. And now Rogue is in the story. And I really, really like the Rogue cut. Like, I was, for 11 minutes, why would you remove all that?
When you told me about the Rogue cut, I was like, that sounds fucking incredible. And for 11 minutes, why wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, like, it's an interesting little, like, break between what's going on there versus what's going on. Like, it's a nice little, like...
Because up to that point...
Because you keep the tension...
Right, because in the original version...
It, right?
The original version, you don't really see much of the future once we go back.
Yeah.
Like, they do little snippets here and there.
Right.
But this like put a good 10-minute story into the future storyline.
Ah, see, I wish they would have done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really like that.
So when you get a chance, watch the Rogue cut instead.
Watch the Rogue cut. Also funny is that they made JFK a mutant in this.
Sorry?
They made JFK a mutant.
Oh, JFK.
You remember?
JFK.
Like.
Oh, I forgot all about that. That's right. Yes. Yes.
Xavier thought Magneto killed him. He's like, I was trying to save him. He's one of us. He's a brother.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
So I'm done with Days of Future Past. But I love Days of Future Past.
All right.
We're on to Apocalypse.
So this is one of my favorite movies of the run. It might not sound like that when I get through my likes and dislikes, but this is one of my favorite movies of the run. Visually, I love it. Story-wise, for the most part, I love it. There's not a lot I don't like. What I do like right away, I don't like...
I'm just going to make sure we're still recording.
Yeah, of course.
You know me.
Yep.
You know me. Yeah, we're recording. Hey!
All right. What I don't like is they don't establish that this is a new timeline.
Right. They don't.
Which they should have.
Comic fans like us kind of have an idea.
But even for me, it was one of those where I'm like, yeah, okay, but like... even just accepting, like, different timelines and stuff like that, like, I wasn't really until we had the conversation previously where I was like, okay, alright, now I can kind of...
I gotta go back to Days of Future Past for a second.
Yeah.
We didn't touch on the very end. Seeing all the original characters again.
Yes, that's right.
Famke Janssen, James
That was
Marsden.
awesome. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, yeah, but it tries to tie itself to the original trilogy, but, like, again, it's almost like they kind of should have had two stingers. One with the First Class, where... Okay. They're like, this is our new timeline, that kind of thing.
You're right.
And then
go back.
And then end with the way it does.
That's that.
Because then I can kind of go, because then at least when I watch Apocalypse, then I go, okay.
It's so beautiful because Logan wakes up, has no idea everything's changed.
Yeah.
He's not like in some crazy dark future anymore.
That's right.
He's in the X Mansion. He's a professor in
in
the X Mansion.
Yeah.
Rogue and Bobby are there. We get a nice little Kelsey Grammer cameo.
Exactly.
Like, it's so good. He sees Storm, and then he sees the red hair, and then you see it on his face, like, oh my god, Jean?
Yeah.
Jean's alive?
And then you see Scott.
And you see Scott. He's like, I guess something's never changed.
Yeah. So it's great.
It's so good.
It's such a great
because then he goes back and he talks to Professor X, and Professor X goes, oh, you're back.
Yeah.
We have a lot to catch up on.
Yeah.
And then it just makes it really sad that 4 years later we get Logan and wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I really feel bad for Logan because he got it all back.
Yeah, but again, I always feel like Logan is one of those characters where you don't want to think that he's going to die alone, but he's going to die alone. Yeah. And he's probably going to die in battle. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you said, John Wick style, right?
Yeah, like
it's
John
not
Wick
gonna be a
style.
happy ending.
It's never going to be a happy ending.
Right.
Because the guy, like, as much as he tried to do a lot of good, he also did a lot of bad, and he knows it. You know what I mean? And same with John Wick, like, that's one of the things that a lot of people almost fail to recognize, is that John Wick isn't a good person. This was a guy that had no problems being a hitman for the mob, right? It's only because he got out, like he met the girl, and to get out, do that final last act, but his last act made it so that the industry, like the bad guys were able to put themselves into the position that they were in, beginning of John Wick, right? So you're still, like, none of this is good.
No.
At all.
He's
it's just that one pocket where you go, well, he fell in love, and he loves the dog, and then he found that other dog, and he loves them, so, like, he can't be all bad. And he's not. I'm not saying he is.
No. He's done bad things. Well, he is. I mean, he's a bad guy, but he's trying to redeem himself. And these guys are worse than him.
He was never trying to redeem himself.
No, but...
Never.
No, okay, it's vengeance. It's a tale of vengeance.
Wolverine is constantly trying to redeem himself.
Yeah.
So, I will say, it's a little bit different in that regard.
Okay.
I love John Wick.
Correct.
I'm a huge
I love John Wick. John Wick's so good.
But he's not a good person. It's not even it's not even like Jason Bourne, where once Jason Bourne kind of woke up a bit more, he was like, I don't want to do this. And then he remembers he never really wanted to do this. But, or it was one of those where he didn't realize what he was going to do until he was in it. And then he was like, I don't want this anymore. And they're like, too fucking bad, buddy.
Yeah.
We're going to brainwash the shit out of you.
Deal with it.
You know, so like, and now like, and with him, it's always like, now he just wants to leave the light behind, right? And I think that's the biggest misstep for Jason Bourne, the movie, was that they should have had it so that, like they were talking about, he couldn't really leave it behind, so then have it so that he's working for them freelance. But anyway, so anyway. Apocalypse.
Back to Apocalypse.
They don't ever establish the new timeline, but okay, all right, fine, whatever. At this point, I'm okay with it. I did not like the changes to Angel visually.
Yeah, Angel didn't make a lot of sense in here. I didn't like the visuals and just the fact that different timeline or not,
Like, I'm guessing it's not Warren Worthington, but
Yeah,
still.
When you said that, I was like, okay, but again,
Still, it's
why
like,
would you make the character look so close to
like
him?
almost identical?
And then go, but it's not the same character.
Because this is in the 80s.
Isn't
and
he even
Warren
credited
Worthington,
as Angel?
during the cage fight, right? Nightcrawler versus Angel.
He's credited as Angel, but now I'm trying to think. I don't think he was ever credited as Angel in Last Stand.
I don't think so. He was just a guy with wings.
He's just Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even still, it's just one of those, like, even as comic book fans, you're just like, how do you not make that leap?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then, of course, we get to Nightcrawler. Well, the casting is great. Like, the casting, again, is phenomenal. They've got great casting. With Nightcrawler, it gets even more problematic because he's virtually identical, just younger.
Mm-hmm.
Even the way he's played is virtually identical.
Yeah.
You know, like they even do his whole Kurt Wagner thing as a joke because how well received it was in the X-Men 2. So it's just one of those where it's like, okay, but how is this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but again, we're talking new timeline. You have a new timeline in your head, it's a little easier to grasp all this stuff, okay?
Exactly.
It also explains why Angel is now European as opposed to American.
I was able to accept Nightcrawler more because of the age, because Alan Cumming is obviously an older man in X2.
Yeah.
The Angel one makes no sense
And,
because he's a teenager.
But part of the other problem, though, is again, it's like, but if you don't reference or you don't make the connection that this is a new timeline,
it's
then
confusing.
you go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
If meeting them in 2002 for X-Men 2 was in a church, that was the first time they met him, did they all forget? You know?
Yeah.
And also, this is the first time we meet Storm. Okay, all right, we meet all the new young cast.
I really like Storm in here. Like,
I love
classic.
Storm. I love Storm in this. I love that she's got
Pickpockets
the
on the
mohawk.
streets.
I love that she's pickpocketing on the streets of Cairo because that's where she met Remy LeBeau.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's also a thief. I loved that she had the accent.
Yep.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Alexander Shipp, she did a great job as the new Storm.
One thing I didn't like, another thing, is Magneto's storyline. I did not like that he had a wife and a child, and he was trying to live his life like a normal human being, mainly because I knew it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. Okay. Plus, it reminded me a lot of Wolverine Origins, you know?
Okay, yep.
Although, when he kills the Polish police in the fucking bush, was awesome. Just very quietly, just little... the necklace that his daughter was wearing, which is the Nazi fucking coin. He uses that to kill them all, and it's just these, like you said.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's awesome. He didn't spend the whole time doing this, which was another thing that I always found kind of annoying in some scenes. Like, even Michelle pointed it out. She's like, isn't it weird how they use hand gestures to do minor things with their mind? And I was like, yeah, I know. I know why they do it. They do it so people,
so visually,
most people
you can
know
see what they're doing.
But like, I mean, even like this, like, you're like, okay, but like, if you're already good at it, you know, like, I understand
touching my head.
If you're lifting a submarine out of the water,
that's a little different.
I understand needing to focus. You know, or if you're trying to freeze an entire museum of people because two mutants are now trying to fight each other with flame and ice. I understand that you're going to do this to control that many people. So I was glad that he never once was like, no, or whatever hand gesture he would do for that. That part was cool, and I mean, like, I did feel for him because it happened because he used his powers to help a guy, like a fellow coworker in the metallurgist area or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So that was kind of a nice touch that he's working with metal.
Yeah.
But he saves the guy from dying, and most people don't see it, but like one or two people do see it.
And that was enough.
Well, because now I start to think, well, they might have seen him do something like this before, but it was once or twice, and maybe they just kind of went, did I see that? And now they're like, no, he's definitely one of those mutant freaks. And he's definitely probably Magneto, because even though he's wearing weird glasses, he kind of looks like Magneto. Yeah. And, I mean, like, I thought that was kind of a nice touch that they were like, you know, known mutant terrorist, Magneto is out there in the world, but it just seemed weird to me. I don't know. It was just, I knew it was going to happen, even though it was a cool way to kill
I knew why it was happening.
Just one of those, like,
I liked it. I liked it that he tried to just go do the normal thing. It was tragic. I felt bad for him.
I felt bad for him,
It was
but
sad.
like I said,
It was
it's a retread of the story, though. It's a lot of just like, I'm good, I'm bad, this time I'm good, maybe next time I'll be bad. Oh, the X-Men are together? I gotta join them.
Yes.
Until it suits my needs, which is another reason why I thought Days of Future Past was really good, because he was like, I'll work together with you guys, I'll help you, and then go, no, I can fuck everything up. I'll fuck the world up. Yeah! Now you're gonna fight me. Yeah! You know? And I mean, again, we're talking different timelines, but I'll use the Fassbender Magneto, so he goes from there to suddenly being like, I don't want to live that life no more. For no reason at all.
Yeah.
There's no real... I mean, even if we got maybe some more glimpses of how the two got together, and maybe then you can John Wick it and be like, because of her, that's why he decided to do this. Okay, all right. Then I might be a little bit more forgiving, but really don't like Mystique as a figurehead.
Yeah.
But that's just my ongoing issue
I mean,
with Mystique as a character, because
it makes sense in this new
in the
timeline.
new timeline, it makes sense. It also makes sense because it's Jennifer Lawrence and her star's only rising.
Yep.
So yeah, you have to have a reason for her character to have more play. So yeah, you got to make her an X-Men,
And
even
you got to
as
make her happy.
As unwilling as she wants to be an X-Men,
these guys,
she ultimately does it.
Yeah, these guys had that deal where it was all four of us or no one.
And I understand. It's the same thing with like when Last Stand hit and Storm, like Halle Berry was like, I want a bigger role. Yeah. And they're like, okay, you're a co-leader. Perfect.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, all right. I don't get it, but fine, you know. But okay.
Only because everyone else is dead.
Yeah. We'll wipe the board clean. Yeah. Then you get
think about that for a moment. You're a co-leader, but there's no one else alive.
And you're only a co-leader because Wolverine is the new leader. Even though that makes even less sense.
He's all that's left.
The lone wolf that barely even wants to be part of a team, new leader. Suck it!
Yeah.
But anyway, so, I also gotta say, the Phoenix as a part of Jean's powers, because at the end, when she ultimately takes out Apocalypse, and I'll say it again, the scene itself as it unfolds is absolutely awesome. It starts to just envelop flame, it starts to come out, and then it starts almost like the wings are opening, and it gives you that classic, like, animated, you know, Phoenix symbol, so to speak, and I was just like, this is so fucking awesome! But part of the problem is I don't like that they continue to use that as a secondary power for her. Yeah. And it's always a darker part of her that Xavier has to block, which always lends problems, which is one of the things I didn't like about Last Stand. The other part, though, is when you get to Dark Phoenix, they don't even reference that at all. Okay? We've got some theories as to why they did that, but that part I didn't like no matter how awesome it looked. It was just one of those, like, fuck.
That whole final... These movies are really good for final battles.
Oh, man.
Everyone, even the worst one, will have a good final battle.
Real quick. We talked about it previously, but the Wolverine scene, I don't like it. It's cool for what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool for what it is, and and in this timeline, it's also cool, but ultimately, they didn't need it.
They didn't need it.
It did nothing at all.
I felt like that whole Alki Lake thing was just a giant detour. Like...
And
like
also
that I would understand getting cut.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
They cut the rogue stuff out. Like they could have had easily the Wolverine cut of Apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly. The Alkali stuff was all right, but that whole scene with Wolverine, I mean, it could have been any mutant in that cage. Yeah. Okay, because then you have that scene where she meets Wolverine and he doesn't remember her. But then I guess the theory will be now that's why he's got a thing for redheads. And why ultimately when they meet again in whatever timeline that he'll have a thing for it. But I was just kind of like, it was forced. It was just one of those. And no matter how cool he looked, because he looked fucking cool. He looked like Bart Sears, like Marvel Comics presents
Windsor Smith.
Barry Windsor Smith. I always say Bart Sears, but it's Barry Windsor Smith. Yeah. That's right. It's always just like, fuck, man, like God, that looks so cool.
It looks so good. Like, they didn't go full headgear because they wanted to show his face a little bit. But it was damn close. He had the belt with the big doohickeys hanging off.
It was good enough.
Yeah.
I was like,
it was good.
And, but ultimately I don't like the scene. As cool as it is, I'm just like, it didn't need to be there. Mm-hmm. You know, and like I was saying, it's like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too by saying, like, if they're trying not to reference that it's a new timeline, but at the same time saying it's a new timeline, but also saying, well, no, I mean, and it's like you can't cherry pick parts that fit and parts that don't fit. Even though we're not even talking about the fact that Mystique was Stryker at the end of Days of Future Past, but then this Stryker is the Stryker.
And he has Wolverine, like,
and then he has Wolverine.
All he had to do was get rid of that yellow eye part at the end of Days of Future
Exactly.
Past.
That's it. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh yeah, that's right, he would have him. And then in this timeline, he is the Wolverine from the comic books. Okay, all right. Everything else can happen exactly the same. I mean, obviously X-Men Origins would have to change a bit, but for the most part, that's fine. But okay, all right. And I think for my dislikes, that Mystique is a full-fledged team leader, but that's kind of part and parcel with her being a figure.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, like, in the context of the character in the comic books, it makes no sense. But it does make sense in this timeline and this particular version of the X-Men. So, okay, all right, fine. What do I like? Casting. The casting is great.
As usual.
Casting is great, even though you can start to see that some of the main cast are like, we don't want to do this.
I didn't really feel that yet with Apocalypse.
I felt it a bit with Jennifer Lawrence. Actually, you know what? Maybe I don't, and I think maybe I'm just
when you compare it to Dark Phoenix, like
I think maybe it's because I'm trying to project because of
I
for the most part, dislike of Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. So, Sophie Turner as Jean Grey was great casting. Ty Sheridan was awesome as Cyclops.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as I said Ty Sheridan as Cyclops, I was like, yes!
I am not familiar with him at all.
Good casting.
But,
had Jubilee in there.
The appearance of all the characters I thought was amazing.
Appearance of all the characters. You get a brand new Quicksilver scene that's friggin' incredible.
Oh, my God!
Like, it actually taught Days of Future Past. Which is amazing. It's
but
like,
then again,
how?
I would have been happy if it was just as good.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that scene looked amazing. But then to make it better and to pick a different song, too.
Yeah.
Because you had Time in a Bottle, and you're like, man, that's so funny. That fits so perfectly because he's essentially holding time in a bottle. But then you have Sweet Dreams by Annie Lennox and the Eurythmics, not Marilyn Manson, although both versions are really great. But if you're not familiar with Marilyn Manson, don't watch the video. But if you are, maybe don't watch the video anyway, because I remember seeing that video and being like, what the fuck is happening? Why is he all covered in black riding a goddamn pig? The song's amazing. I don't know what's going on with this video. This is scaring the shit out of me. But so that whole sequence, I mean, the fucking dog's eating pizza for Christ's sake.
Right?
So
great.
He saves fish, literally.
Saves a goldfish.
Goldfish, scoop, here you go, wrap around, wrapping people up in mattresses, throwing them out while the whole building is exploding. The entire Xavier Institute is exploding, and he's there he's there to find Magneto, to find his dad.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's such a great scene. Absolutely incredible scene.
Great scene. Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse was fantastic.
Although I could have tweaked his appearance a little bit.
A little bit.
But not a lot, though.
I don't...
all the hate about him being
looking like a Power Rangers villain?
Power Rangers villain, I was like, I don't get it at all.
Just because Ivan Ooze was blue and he's blue.
I loved that they leaned into the Egyptian aspect.
Well, that's the thing. The costume was very Egyptian. It wasn't all robotic with a giant A like the comic
I know,
books.
we talked about that, but the A belt is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fuck
maybe
off.
they could have had a little bit more of the Apocalypse lips.
I think it's because in the comic books and in basically everything you've seen of him, he's always been predominantly gray and blue. So the purple aspects is kind of what threw me. And I think that would have been the topper for me. Because close up, you see the gray and you see the blue lines a bit. And they kind of touch upon that a bit. Although, like I said, while I love the fact that they leaned into the Egyptian stuff, because, I mean, this is the first ever mutant, and he was an Egyptian, but even the fact that they make him ridiculously overpowered, which is what he's always been.
He should be, yeah.
He has to be. They reference the fact that he is potentially the first ever mutant, period. But I even like that they do the body transference, and he's transferring with people that has powers that he doesn't have.
Exactly.
And so he's gaining those powers, which leads to the whole point of the end of the movie, which really, really smart stuff that they did here. Well, I even like the fact that, like, so Charles... Okay, we'll do a quick recap, bring everybody up to speed. If you haven't seen the movie, so Psylocke is introduced, and Psylocke is an interesting story.
Yeah, Olivia Munn did great there.
Yeah, but it's so funny that she did all this extra training for a franchise that died. After this movie, it pretty much died.
Yeah, because they definitely end her arc on a point where she's going to return.
Exactly. She gets
Definitely.
away, she doesn't die.
Definitely.
She actually literally goes, oh, they're going to kill him. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
And they even teased Mr. Sinister in this. Like, there was a lot of, like, we would have had a pretty awesome X future.
I've been waiting for Mr. Sinister because that's a creepy fucking villain that we need to see.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she was obviously poised for bigger things, eventually becoming an X-Men. There's no way around it. I loved the comic accurate costume that she had, aside from the boob window.
Mm-hmm.
Never needed it, ever. But they gave it to her.
Egyptians like boob windows.
No. It's producers who go, comic book fans want to see titty. I got a phone that I can see titty on anytime I like.
It's a boob window, all right.
It's a boob window.
At least it wasn't something stupid like a big cutout P for Psylocke.
No, I agree. Because it all, like, when you think boob window,
That's the worst.
that's like Invisible Woman. When she had that
The
boob
four,
window.
and you're like, how is the middle of that 4 even staying there?
Not
is
only
it glued
that,
onto your boob?
The best part is like, from a character standpoint, she's always been like in a jumpsuit. They've always been in jumpsuits. Then the 90s hit, and then they're like, you need a bathing suit with a boob window, but it will make it look like a 4. See what we did there? And you'll also need to have really long gloves.
Mm-hmm.
I know, you're like, why wouldn't I just wear long sleeves and pants?
Because
you don't need to.
you're going to wash the dishes when this is done.
Because you got really long gloves, and I think she had weird, like, strap boots.
Strap boots.
All the way
She
down.
looked awful.
Oh, God, it was terrible.
The 90s was not very pleasant at times towards women in comic books.
Actually, for men, too. Like, Thor had that weirdo chain fucking black suit that he was almost universally shirtless on.
With women, it was less is more, and with the guys, is fucking load them up with
it was either,
layers and pouches and everything.
But also, if you could make them not wear a shirt, even better.
Men can't move. Don't wear a shirt. That was the one thing. Thor had like the strapped thing. Yeah. But he had no shirt on. And giant like shoulder pads. That's right. And then he had like the fingerless gloves that came up to here, but then chains on top of that. Mm-hmm. None of it made sense. He had the Shatterstar helmet. Yep. But okay, fine. Because his helmet was kind of Shatterstar-esque. But then they had like they had the top part open, so he could wave his hair around.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
Exactly. Cap had an armor.
Yeah. Yep. Armor. Yeah. Iron Man
was a kid.
Yeah, but he had like robotic tubes sticking out of him. And
I
don't know what was going on in the 90s with that stuff.
Anyway.
But yeah, boob window.
I love the final costumes. That final like cut scene.
That last shot of them turn around like Jim Lee style uniforms.
Jim Lee-esque, yeah. Jim Lee-esque style.
Cyclops for sure.
Cyclops was really
very
close.
Jim Lee.
Really close.
Yeah, this thing going on.
Yeah, but that one actually kind of reminded me of like just before, or is it just after the Whedon run? I think it might have been just after the Whedon run, where he had like a predominantly blue, but it had black accents, and then like almost a segmented type thing there.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of that. But overall, the final costumes are great. What else do we got? Overall, though, this is an X-Men movie. I've said plenty of times before that, like, I even said it in this one, where I look at comic book movies and I look at the best ones as being the ones that when you take out all the comic book elements, it can still stand on its own and be a great movie to watch. And I still stand by that. But at the same time, we're at a point where, like, it's okay to have those movies and you should have those movies. Yeah. But then it's okay to have movies like this where, like, if you take out the X-Men stuff, then the movie doesn't work on its own. It has to have those things. And this is almost like it celebrates the fact that this is an X-Men movie.
That's the thing with teen movies, though, right? Like, you gotta have teamwork in a teen movie.
Not even just the teamwork aspects, just the fact that they're mutants.
Yeah.
and they come together as the X-Men, right? Like, you need to have those aspects. Because otherwise you wouldn't have wicked scenes where Xavier is fighting Apocalypse in his brain. You wouldn't have scenes like that. But you have to have scenes like that.
There's somewhere about Apocalypse. Like, first off, he's introduced with the whole Egyptian thing at the beginning, but then he comes back because Rose Byrne returns as Moira Tager.
Exactly.
And she's on the hunt in Egypt.
She's on the hunt for something. She's not quite
sure. She
sure
doesn't really
what.
know about mutants again.
No, because the mind wipe.
Yep.
She got her mind wiped by Xavier.
Yeah.
And then, and that's right, because we don't see her in Days of Future Past.
No, for obvious reasons. That would have been too much.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I didn't like Junkie Xavier in Days of Future Past.
Oh, yeah, Junkie.
Just one of those, like, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to see my hero shooting up. Don't do that.
But he stops.
I don't give a fuck. I mean, are you serious? Like, what's next? Are you actually going to show Captain America is taking steroids? The guy's a walking allegory for steroids, but you don't need to show it.
No.
You don't need to suddenly have Cap being like, hold on, guys, give me a minute here.
It's America's vein right there.
That's right. Or, that's America's ass right there. Boom, hey, I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some good roids. Anyway, I don't know why people would say shit like that. That's some good steroids I just took.
Them steroids are great.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so like just as an X-Men movie, this is just absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And also, this is the first time I think we've noticed, you noticed it when we did this first time, is that she's not Mystique on the cover.
No.
She's Raven Darkholme.
Same with Dark Phoenix. There's no blue on that Jennifer Lawrence right there. At all.
Yeah, it's because they don't want you to know that it's Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Not Mystique.
Okay. Whatever. It's just Jennifer Lawrence, I guess.
Yeah.
What else do I love about this movie? Again, Apocalypse. Some creepy shit he does in this movie. He puts people into the ground, into the walls.
So cool. He just does it as a thought. Like, they just show his eyes kind of white over. Yeah. But he doesn't, like, literally go... Like that scene where, like, because Eric goes back to the mail shop.
Yeah.
And then, like, so Apocalypse, Psylocke, Storm, and Angel, now all apocalypsized, or they're now like Horsemen of Apocalypse.
Walk through the portal.
So they all look awesome.
They look awesome.
Like, they look great. And they walk through the portal, and then Eric is literally like, don't stop me from killing you. I hope you're not going to stop me from killing these men.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, he's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And I hope you're not going to stop me from killing these men. And then with just a thought, pushes them all into the ground, and the wall and
legs
stuff,
are sticking
like,
down, their arms are sticking out.
And just like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's gross. And he's just like, all right, come with me. And then they go to Auschwitz, and Magneto destroys Auschwitz with the empowering that he gets from Apocalypse. So that's fucking awesome. What the hell was I going to say now? Even just the way he speaks, where he's almost like a quiet whisper. And then occasionally, like, there's like a baritone that backs up his voice, which was really cool. But even just, like, that was really cool. But one of my favorite scenes is when Charles tracks down Magneto, and he's like, I heard about what happened with your family, and I'm so sorry. And he's like crying, like, he's like, I'm really sorry about that. And like, I can help you. Like, we can help you, just, you know. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, he's not alone. He's with somebody. And then Apocalypse...
I've never felt power like this before.
Apocalypse is just like, I've never felt power like this before. Yeah. Thank you for letting me in. So now, through Charles, he's got access to Cerebro, and they need Havoc to destroy Cerebro, which leads into the awesome Quicksilver scene.
Yeah.
But he was just like, oh, fuck. And he just very quietly and calmly goes, just thank you for letting me in. And now he's like going to speak to everybody. And then then they take Xavier, destroy the mansion, and we have that awesome scene. And then through Xavier, he speaks to the world, and he's like making Xavier say, like, basically the credo of Apocalypse is the strong will get everything. Mm-hmm. The weak will get nothing. But I love that he gets to that point where he's like, to the strong, you will inherit everything. And Xavier goes, to the strong, you must protect the weak. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, that last little, like, fuck you. And he's like, okay, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, I tried. I think part of it was you started smirking, and you're like, it's not going to work.
Yes. I was just like, I wonder how long he's going to actually fiddle with this thing.
Keep doing it while I'm talking, right? Yeah, but anyway, so, and then you do it within seconds. It's like, fuck you douche.
Spirit fingers.
There you go, just hands. But yeah, so like I even just love that part where they don't even say, like, because like he lays it out like you're gonna create this and you're gonna do this and this, and then Xavier's like, okay, what am I here for?
Yeah.
And then they show that now he's gonna transfer. So he wants Xavier's powers because Xavier can control everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked how that's the first time they ever really touched upon that aspect, that he could control everybody. He just doesn't, you know?
Yep.
And, but so that's really, really cool. And I like how, again, ultimately this is something that'll affect the whole world, but it's still just an X-Men thing because he's like, well, I want Charles, then the world, right? And the X-Men are like, no, we gotta stop this, period.
Yeah.
Right? And I like it because in the sense that sometimes you get those movies where it's like how does the world move beyond this? Like, once you find out that mutants are there and all this stuff, like, how do you put that back in the bottle? Because a lot of times the second movie will act like no one really knows, or a small group knows, right?
Yeah.
But in this day and age, you're like, everybody would know, right? This is so contained in the far reaches of the earth that it's just an event. They're all just like, we don't know what happened, we don't know how it stopped, all we know that it's no longer done, so yay us, right? It's a refreshing change of pace. Because there's times where I watch horror movies where at the end of the horror movie I go, yeah, but like, if everybody knows, how does the sequel happen? And the same surprise happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least with the aliens, the only link was Yetu Corporation and Ripley and the aliens themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So when you go from Alien to Aliens, the sequel makes sense, right? Aliens to Aliens 3, you're still getting further and farther away. Like, how is this still a thing, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't really have much else to add here. Funny side note, though, when we did this the first time around, we actually were just about to wrap up when I started to reference the whole part with Magneto and Xavier letting in Apocalypse and Havoc and all this stuff. So that happened almost exactly the same, which I thought is interesting. But, okay.
One more little tidbit.
Yes.
My favorite Stanley cameo. Because he did it with his wife, Joni.
Yes! That's also exactly how this happened the first time around.
Yeah.
Because
I threw it in right at the end.
Because what I'm going to say now is, when we watched this recently, my wife and I, and she went, oh, I wonder if that's his wife, Joni.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up, and it was, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. Also, fun tidbit, Joni was the voice of Madame Web in the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s.
You don't say!
But you didn't know that, Chris.
I did, because you told me the first time around, but I didn't know that time.
Okay.
I was like, what?
Yeah, so that was pretty interesting.
Very cool stuff.
No, it was great to see him in there with his wife, because I do believe she only lived a year after this.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly what happened, yeah. So
yeah, very touching to see that. That is X-Men Apocalypse, and this is Dark Phoenix. Oh, yeah, it's not out
that's
yet.
right, it's not out
All
yet.
right. So.
I watched it illegally. Flat out watched it illegally.
I watched it legally, because I waited 3 fucking years to do so. Took forever to get into the theater.
This one's really bittersweet for me. Really, really bittersweet.
More bitter than sweet.
Oh, it's way more bitter than sweet. Like, the first half hour, I really like this movie. I really feel like an X-Men movie. But it also it feels like a different... The X-Men are in a different place because people are aware of mutants. They're not being as overt about their hatred of them, which I thought was a nice touch from Mystique. But at the same time, like, it allows for the X-Men to just be heroes as opposed to just being mutant related. Mm-hmm. Which I had said, like, one of the more refreshing things about the Whedon run on Astonishing X-Men, which if you haven't read, you should check it out. Not just because it's one of the best runs on X-Men, and it's surprising because it's Whedon, who's a really hit or miss for me, but you also get John Cassidy art, which is phenomenal.
Oh, so good.
You know,
So good.
but you get a part in that the thing where Wolverine's just like, oh, does this mean we have to wear spandex? And Cyclops goes, here superheroes wear spandex. So yes, because basically they something happens and Scott goes, okay, well we're gonna show up and help out. And I can't remember who says it. I think it might be Reed Richards actually, who goes, wait, but it's not mutant related. And Cyclops goes, it doesn't matter. We're here to help out. And the whole point was to show that mutants, the X-Men in particular, aren't just going to do X-Men related stuff. They're going to help out everybody.
Yeah.
So it's to show that we're all part of one world, and it doesn't matter who or what you are. It just is. And I was like, that is refreshing. And it made a new spin on that. I don't want to say tired, but it's like if you get a new X book, how is this separate from the other X books? Well, they're making a conscious effort to be superheroes, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really cool. So when this astronaut stuff happened, like the space shuttle accident starts to happen, the first thought is we should go help. And then they do, and I was like, that's really great. I like that. And the whole sequence is awesome. Like, awesome.
Like it's...
Even when I'm saying, like, I don't like Mystique as a leader, it works perfectly in this context. Like, it's not like I go, anybody else, and I believe it. I'm just like, no, this is great because they've established it, and it works, especially because at the end of Apocalypse, she's a leader. She's calling the shots. She's, like, using her real face. She's not, hiding anymore. So I was like, this is so great. This is great. The whole sequence is awesome. I mean, they take out Peter quickly. And then you never see him again.
Yeah, well, that's after, though, right?
It is after, but I mean, it's still just one of those...
During the Phoenix Possession, I call it Phoenix Possession. Because
the Phoenix Possession I like. I like that they make it cosmic,
clearly
too.
The power is already in her, so this being going through the universe could be possessing that power, making it dark.
Yeah, I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
I love that it's cosmic.
I love that it's cosmic.
That made it really feel
I was
X-Men
like,
to me.
that's so great.
And it was opening up a huge door of what we could have seen.
Exactly, especially
forward.
Because I guarantee you, before the reshoots and the Fox new owners,
which was obviously to put a tight lid on. This is the end.
I guarantee that these would have been some form of Shi'ar reference to instead of the Debaki race of shapeshifters.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guarantee there would have been some link to the Shi'ar.
We would have.
Which would have been fucking awesome.
It was,
Oh, man. Starjammers would have been great. Absolutely great. I said in the previous one that we are re-recording, even if they don't mention that Corsair is the Summers dad, it still would have been awesome to see that.
The Brood? That would have been horrifying.
The Brood would have been fucking crazy.
That was horrifying.
Because then you would have had Brood versions of all the X-Men.
Yeah.
And then you have that awesome scene where, Wolverine's not in this one. Never mind.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And man, it was so great to see Wolverine, like, just healing out of the Brood, but you still have the visual of him as a Brood for a bit there. Like, man, when they did that in the animated comic books, I was like, oh, fuck, this is crazy! This is awesome! But, like, he even said, like, you could have even led into the M'Kron crystal. Like, you could have had a Splinter X-Men story in space with a Splinter X-Men story on Earth, and then eventually having to come together so that they have their own big, like, Infinity War style thing.
Exactly.
We
could have had the blue team and the gold team.
Exactly.
This is a blue team movie. On the ground.
Exactly.
We're doing fucking, like, Mr. Sinister
We're doing
here.
Sinister. We're doing maybe kind of more of a Black Ops thing.
There's a gold team up in space doing this shit.
And then you could have, because of the M'Kron crystal, you could have actually accidentally had Deadpool transported into this for this period of time, and then have, like, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool fighting alongside two different but equally awesome X-Men teams into one giant fucking crossover movie that we'll never ever get, because there's no way that Disney's going to put this much effort into the X-Men.
Ever.
Yeah. I guarantee you their X-Men movies are going to be like, we just did them because we knew people would watch them. We didn't really care so much. We do want them to be big enough so that when we add them into a giant X-Men /Avengers /Fantastic Four movie where it's going to be 6 hours long and nobody's going to be happy because every one of their favorite characters is going to get a short shift unless we bring back Tony Stark. Yeah, we'll bring back Tony Stark and then it'll be a Tony Stark movie again. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. That's the X-Men that you're gonna get.
Makes me so excited as an X-Men fan for the future of the mutants.
Yeah, And Kit Harington is going to be Black Knight instead of Wolverine.
And chances
What?
are they won't even be called X-Men. They'll be called mutants or X-Peoples.
No, I think they'll actually be called X-People. Or X-Men, sorry.
They better be called X-Men.
I think they'll be called X-Men.
Because that stupid line that Jennifer Lawrence drops in Dark Phoenix. We save our guys' asses all the time. We should be the X-Women, not the X-Men. I was just like...
Yeah, but like it's too much of a branding.
It's too much.
It's too much
Men stands for human. It's not men.
It's too much of an actual branding for them not to do it.
They better do it. They better do it. They better do it. A little bit of ogre rage.
Here's my... Okay, so we'll do dislikes. We'll get these out of the way real quick. Even though...
You're just like everything.
Well,
that was quick.
Xavier mind wipes an 8-year-old Jean. I didn't like it, but your explanation, you weren't there. You didn't see it. Kenneth's explanation was that this is an 8-year-old who we find out about halfway through the movie, she kills her mom.
Yeah.
She causes a car accident that kills her mom, and she doesn't know this, but also has her dad disown her. Literally give her to Xavier, just be like, she's yours now. And so she believes that both her parents died in that accident. She doesn't know that she caused it. She also doesn't know that her dad's still alive and wants nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
So you're saying he did it to protect her from that level of pain because she's 8 years old. And I have to agree that I don't know what I would do in that scenario, and I probably would have done this.
Well, your idea, too, was that, like, I don't believe Charles would do that.
This many times.
And then I said, well, if this would have happened in the 70s, it's not that far removed from First Class.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe he hadn't learned that lesson yet.
He mind wipes Rose Byrne in First Class. By Apocalypse, he acknowledges that he shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And gives her back her memories.
Yeah.
So, because now Jean Grey is about 17, 18 in Apocalypse.
About that.
So this is 10 years now since he mind wiped her. So
Apocalypse
it's
is what, roughly 10 years after Days of Future Past?
Yeah, it's like 83.
So he would have kept his promise, started the X-Men after Days of Future Past. She would have been one of the first members he brought in.
Exactly. So
it would have been,
he
the
wouldn't
70s.
have learned his lesson at that point. So yeah, he would have looked at it like, yeah, I'll do that. And if we're looking at it from saving this young girl from all that pain and trauma, I don't know if I wouldn't do the same.
Yeah.
So it's becoming a minor dislike. The big dislike is the fact that Quicksilver is taken out so soon.
Very quick.
You know, like, I mean, I know that it's because he's super overpowered. But I mean, like, he had a great run in Apocalypse where he was actually, like, knocking Apocalypse around until Apocalypse got his bearings, broke his leg, and then he was out.
Yeah.
Then he was done. Could have done the same thing, and I would have been okay with it. In fact, I mean, if we're talking about Debakia's shape-shifting aliens, that's how you could have got him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's fighting all these shape-shifting aliens, and then just through the course of it, one of them gets him, and then he's out for the rest of the movie. Okay. But you could have had one, and like the fight scene could have been the new slow-mo scene.
Yes.
So it could have showed him taking on an entire fleet of them.
I think that's why they did it, though. I think they were expecting you to expect another slow-mo scene.
Plus, it cuts down the budget too.
Yeah.
Because they were already over budget.
So,
with
like,
reshoots,
here's Jean, and you know she's got this Dark Phoenix in her now.
Yeah.
What is she willing to do? Well, let's throw Quicksilver up first. Because he's going to get the job done.
Yep.
He's hopping up towards her.
Yep.
She does that thing that Superman did in Justice League where she looks at him.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I can still see you. And he's just like, oh, fuck. Off the board.
Yeah. Although that part was pretty cool.
And then she kills Mystique.
Although, I think it would have been cooler if I hadn't seen it in Justice League.
Yeah.
Because that was awesome.
Yeah, that was
when
awesome.
He's tracking him, and you're just like, and it's not even like overt, it's just the eyeball moves. You're like, holy shit, because you're doing the same thing he's doing at the same time. He's like, what the fuck? And we're all like, oh, fuck.
When was Justice League?
2017.
2017?
We already did this. It's 2017.
So it would these two movies would have came out in the same year.
Would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
Yeah. It's good that...
It was coincidental,
Yeah.
obviously. It
Obviously.
wasn't a copy
It's
off
just
of,
one of those,
but
like, that'd be
2
cool.
years
Yeah.
later, now it kind of
Yeah.
seems like, well, we saw this already.
Gene killing Raven was stupid obvious. Stupid obvious.
Well, they kind of gave it away in the trailers, too.
The only thing I'll say, though, is they imply that it happens in space. And when it doesn't, I was refreshed. I was like, oh, okay. Then later, I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
She didn't even mean to, though. Like, she just, like, blew her away and impaled her.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, it lends itself a little bit more tragically.
And it was like, hey, look at Little Miss I Don't Want to Be Here is off the board.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe I can enjoy the performances again a little bit.
I did not like, I said this, but I don't like the Debaki race.
Yeah.
I don't like that Hank allies himself with Magneto.
Yeah.
I also don't like that they tried to make it seem like Chastain's character wasn't the bad guy of the piece, especially because you're looking at the entire board and you're like, you're the only new character on here, and you have your own race of shapeshifters. How are you not the bad guy?
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
You're going to be bad.
Yeah, you're going to be bad.
Well, everything about her seemed bad. Her first appearance was killing that family.
Yeah, but I mean...
Like, you're evil.
Yeah, but like they didn't even need to show that. They could have just had them land. And then you find out later. Like, Jean accesses her memories, and then you see that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go, oh, okay. Right? Because, again, they have that scene immediately, you know you're bad. But then they do this whole, like, I'm not really bad. I'm just trying to help. You're like, that doesn't make any sense.
I already saw you kill those people.
Exactly. So if you don't have that scene, but then you have Jean, like, in space when she's fighting him, and goes, wait a minute. No, you aren't good. No, you can't have this. Mm-hmm. You know, like, just as she's giving the power, then she starts to realize, like, that would be kind of cool.
Well, that was after the Professor X part. That was fucked.
Yes.
She gets him to walk up the stairs.
Oh, God.
And his legs are, like,
single time you bring it up, I'm like,
it's just like,
he's just like, Yeah. That's horrible. That's horrible.
Fucked.
Mainly it comes down to the horrible script. Or horrible version of this script.
The script's not the problem. It's the fact that they butchered it a million times and then tried to glue it back together.
Like, it's this horrible version of what probably was a good script.
Like, I got great notes. Let's put it through a shredder and then I'll try to tape it back together. We'll see how good they are after that.
And then it's also the direction, too. It's not really the direction.
Simon Kimber. This is his first movie.
It's his first movie, and they gave him a first movie that was already supposed to be with Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
And they had budgeted for that amount for Bryan Singer, who was comfortable with that level of a budget, who knew that, okay, we'll do some reshoots here and there, but we'll be around this level here. That's fine. We might go a little bit over budget, but that'll be fine. No big deal. Then all this stuff happens with Bryan Singer, and he gets taken off the board, as he should have. Okay? Yep. Because he has been dodging that bullet for a long time. A long time, okay? I'm not going to reference that kind of stuff there. You can look it up on your own. But he has been dodging that bullet a long time. Almost as long as Kevin Spacey's been dodging that bullet. But I will say that he's been dodging it more so because he was one of the few that was already outed years ago. Okay? Anyway. So then they bring in Simon Kinberg. So he's been working with Singer.
Yeah, I mean, he's already there. He was producing.
He's also been an X-Men writer for quite some time.
Yep.
He's been a comic book writer for a while.
He did a Wonder Woman run. He wrote 4 of them.
He did a Wonder Woman run as well, too.
Did he?
I'm almost certain he did.
I didn't know that he was writing comics. Alan Heinberg wrote Wonder Woman. Is that who you're thinking about?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
He did. So Simon Kinberg comes in. He's already a writer-producer, takes over as director. I think he wrote the screenplay for Apocalypse off of the story by Bryan Singer and the whole X2 team.
He didn't write any comic books.
He did not. I don't think he wrote. Yeah, he had nothing to do with First Class.
He wrote and produced Apocalypse, Days of Future Past.
He wrote Days of Future Past, and he wrote Last Stand.
He's a producer for First Class.
Yeah.
I thought he was a comic book writer.
He's been around a while.
Anyway. So they gave him this movie. And, I mean, like, I feel for him, because obviously he's...
I feel bad for him, I do, because he was trying to fix the mistakes he made with Last Stand, and he probably, for the most part, successfully did it before it got butchered.
Yeah, And that's
And now this, as his first movie, is going to be his last movie. No studio's going to want him again.
No, exactly. Like, and like I said, like I feel for him because again, like his first ever movie that he is directing is a movie that he was just given. Like it was just like, fuck, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
And good luck. Oh, by the way, we did a shit ton of rewrites, and there'll be more rewrites. Don't you worry, because like at the time when this movie was supposed to come out, I think this was when they first started talking about DC or Disney and X-Men and Fox. Oh no, there wasn't even talks of that merger.
Nope, that merger started
right.
in early 2018.
That's right.
This was supposed to come out in November 2017.
That's right. So this got pushed back.
It got pushed back for a few reshoots.
And
then it was on schedule to come out.
Then it was on schedule to come out.
But then the Disney Fox
and then that stuff happened, and then
knocked it out of the park.
So like, and then of course they had to rejigger an ending that was an actual ending. So no like hints of anything else, no possible Shi'ar stuff, no possible Star Jammers, because we don't know that's where they were going to go. They could have.
They could have.
Okay, but up until the end of this movie, you're getting a sense that they're wiping out the old guard to make way for the new guard, which is, you know, Gene and Scott and, you know, Hank's the headmaster. The reason why I don't rate this movie higher, even though they did a lot of stuff better than Last Stand, is because it's an actual ending as a send-off to characters that I've loved for so long of my life. Like, we're not talking just adult life. We're talking my entire life, right? As far back as I can remember reading comic books, I remember it in sequence. I remember reading Spider-Man, Superman, and Batman first, and then getting a little bit older and coming across X-Men, and it came at that perfect time because as a short kid, surrounded by guys that weren't like me, it was like, oh my god, I'm not like any of them. Then you find the X-Men, and you're like, they're not like anyone either, you know? And then you're like, oh, huh.
Yeah.
Wait, you got this fucking midget Canadian? Yeah. Oh my god, this is amazing. So it's like, because of them, I was able to fall in love with Wolverine. Although, I gotta say, your love for Wolverine is definitely stronger than mine, because it just is. I don't know why, it just is.
Probably the 1,400 issues of Wolverine I have in my closet.
At least. But
the entire
But anyway, it was just one of those, so now, so for me to get this kind of a send-off is fucking terrible. Yeah. Sure, okay, so you have Charles go, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to retire to Paris. And they have the cool scene with him playing chess with Magneto.
I enjoyed that.
I thought it was nice.
It kind of ends the way the series started.
Yeah, which, again, it also ends kind of similar to the way that the Last Stand ended, you know, where now you find out Magneto may or may not have lost his powers, which I thought was great. But I don't like that Charles is just kind of like, I'm done, but I'll hang out with Eric. And Magneto, same thing. He's done too. Okay.
Yeah.
They do the Phoenix tease.
Up in the air.
Which works for the character, but again, as a goodbye. Yeah. If you're going to do a goodbye, do a goodbye. Don't do a goodbye with, maybe there's more to this story, okay? And also because it's one of those, well, like, if you're dead, leave him dead, right? Again, it's the finality stuff. I like that Hank McCoy, the Beast, becomes the headmaster.
Yep.
But like I said, I don't like that he just didn't choose the Beast form. You know?
You would have liked to see that last shot of him in Beast form.
Because he's the headmaster of a school devoted to different people. Like, I know they're talking about opening up to everybody. Humans and mutants, which is one of the things I loved about the Morrison run, where it's like, if you want to be here, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just be prepared. Because you might not make it through the curriculum. Because we've got guys that could annihilate you by accident.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I would have liked it because it adds to that. Like, with Xavier, he's in a wheelchair, but he's a powerful telepath, but you know he's a mutant because he's proudly being a mutant. With Hank McCoy, he's not proudly a mutant. There's always that part of him that wishes he wasn't. So when he chooses to be Nicholas Hoult as Hank McCoy, I feel like it just puts you in a weird perspective because, like, if I'm a mutant and I have weird mutant powers, and then I go to talk to the headmaster and he is a fucking model who chooses not to look like a mutant, I'm probably not going to go to him. I'm probably going to go to maybe Storm or whatever weird Cyclops. I might even go to Cyclops and be like, hey man, like I'm fucking dealing with some shit here, and have Cyclops be able to go, yeah, we're all dealing with some shit. But if that was to come from, say, Beast, I'd be like, what are you dealing with?
Yeah.
What are you dealing with? At the end of the day, your feet are sore because you've been holding them up, cramped up like this so you can fit into regular shoes. But other than that, what are you dealing with? You look like a fucking model.
Yeah.
I don't understand what your trouble is. You do this, or you take pills, everything's great. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those, if you're the headmaster of the X-Men, look like a fucking mutant. Look, you don't even have to look like Kelsey Grammer, but maybe start. Get a little longer hair going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And change the school of Jean Grey.
I liked that part. I really liked that part.
Nice little send-off for her.
I did like that part. But like I said, like as far as, like, the ending doesn't have to be like a final end, but make it so that, like you said, like the school's going, Professor X is still alive, Magneto's still alive. There's always that possibility that something might happen.
Yeah.
Leave the Phoenix shit out of there, especially because why? You know? Maybe have Scott go, Jean, and that's it.
Well,
actually,
I didn't mind seeing it. I didn't mind seeing this guy.
No, and I'm saying
she's gone from Earth, but she's transcended. She's something bigger now.
Yeah, like, and I'm
So
saying this, but even as I'm saying this, I'm like, you know what? It's actually ultimately it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it was just because I was not a fan of the movie so much. I think if I liked the movie more, then I'd be like, okay, all right, So,
the train sequence is amazing.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
What do I got for likes? The train sequence is amazing. Casting is great.
Yeah.
The entire space rescue scene I thought was great.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot because I had more dislikes on this side too. Horrible end of the franchise. Check. Nobody wants to be in this movie. Check. Tank Xavier. Forgot about Tank Xavier.
Tank Xavier.
Anyway.
Yep.
There's a lot of graphic violence in this movie.
It's a very violent movie.
Didn't need that much graphic violence.
Like,
Violence is inherent in superhero movies.
Seeing Nightcrawler hold a knife with his tail and fucking stabbing guys, I was just like, oh fuck.
And out of all the characters, Nightcrawler, the most religious? What?
Yeah. Well, in this timeline, he becomes a Satanist.
Yeah, okay, but in Apocalypse, we clearly show him praying.
Yeah.
Repeatedly. But yeah.
It's violent. It's violent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really got that, like I said on the episode that never happened.
Yeah, the Phantom episode.
I got an X-Men animated series feel from this, just from like the space rescue, all the cosmic stuff going on, that amazing epic Hans Zimmer score playing throughout all this, and we're seeing like people all around the world watching this on TV, the X-Men going into space, and these guys are saving our people.
Like I said, the first half hour is really good. Really good. Really feels like, okay, all right, like I can get behind this. And there are parts in there too that I'm like, okay, like even like I had said before, the scene where they're in the bush and they're partying like kids.
Yeah,
because you forget that they're kids, right? So then you're like, oh yeah, I guess that would be something that they would do. I just never thought of it like that. Mm-hmm. Because like even in the original X-Men run, it's like, because of comic books and how long they are, but you forget that like at one point, like the original team were only in their teens when they started doing this, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, of course they might do something like this to unwind. So I mean, while jarring, it wasn't like out of character per se. It was just you hadn't seen it before. So I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Nice little take on it. All right. But I don't know. Overall, I don't see myself watching this movie again. Whereas, like Apocalypse, I'm actually like disappointed I hadn't watched it sooner because it was such a fun movie. Yeah. First Class was another one. I'd watched it enough times so I was okay with it. And Days of Future Past I watched it enough times. But Apocalypse was the one where I was like, I should have watched this more because it's ultimately a lot of fun. There was not a lot of fun at Dark Phoenix at all. Like especially towards the end of the movie, I was like, oh boy. And then we got to the train scene. But the train scene, that whole sequence is amazing. Yeah. Like, you're right. Like, that's absolutely incredible. Everything leading up to it was absolutely great. But even ultimately, like, when Jean takes back the Phoenix Force was also really cool. You know, it's like two really good parts. And I feel like those are the two parts that were from the original script. That weren't butchered. And then everything else is just kind of like, like, I've said this before, it feels like more and more now movies are created around set pieces. So we have set piece A, and we'll have a bit of story
Yep.
leading up to set piece A, and then we'll have story into set piece B, and then set piece 3, and then story in between, right? And in some movies it works exponentially well, like Mission Impossible Fallout, because those are set piece movies, but they're smart enough to have good story leading up to it
Yep.
and in between, so that if you're a fan of the movie, you appreciate that movie a lot. Like if you're a fan of the series. But if you're not, you can still watch it and immediately pick up on the beats, right?
Yep.
Oh, there's a past relationship between him and her. Okay. That's a really cool sequence. Simon Pegg, hey, look at that. They've been friends for a while.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, Bing Rent, hey, they've been friends for a while, right? You don't have to watch 5 movies prior to understand everything.
No.
But watching all 5 of those movies, you go, wow, I love this movie, you know? I might even appreciate Mission Impossible 2 more because of this movie. Not a lot, but a little bit more. A little bit more
A
now.
little bit more. Attack.
Well, I mean, they pull out the fucking mountain climbing scene, and even me, with such a hate on for that movie, I was like, that's really cool that they referenced that part. You know, because, like, when I rewatch that movie and I go, I get it, you're a badass. You're mountain climbing without any safety gear. You don't possibly believe you're going to die. That's ridiculous. I think, yeah, he's got water, and that's it. That's literally it. But so then when they reference it, at least I'm like, well, it makes sense, because he was climbing mountains in the second movie, right? That's about it. That's really the only extra appreciation I have for that. That's it. But okay.
So
but even like, if we'll say Fallout, right? Even if Fallout was the last movie, they ended it in a way that could be the end.
Mm-hmm.
But there could be more.
Yeah.
But I was satisfied. Like, if they had said there's no more Mission Impossible movies, or at least until the next reboot, I'd be like, man, okay, great.
Yeah.
Because this was a great way to send
That
them
was a great
off.
end.
This was not a great way to send them off, okay? And as much as I don't like Last Stand, I think if I remember I did the list, I think Last Stand was still the worst one of the bunch for me.
You weren't sure.
No, yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
Either way, it was going to be a Dark Phoenix.
It's one of the two. And it might even just depend on my mood, but at least with The Last Stand, it did end in such a way where there was a bit of finality.
Yeah.
Because they even did that Professor X thing at the end, too, where he's like, he's dead. Just kidding, he's not dead, you know? But they ended it in a way where it could be the end, or they could have made more movies after that. They didn't even have to do the reboot thing. They could have made more movies after that, and it'd be okay. I wouldn't be like, guys, that was a fucking end, you know? But at least it was a bit more of a satisfying ending than this one. For me.
I'm done with Dark Phoenix.
I'm done with Dark Phoenix.
Should we rank the movies?
Yeah.
You want to go first?
No, you're going to have to go first, because I immediately forgot my rankings. Because the first 3, I think I agreed with.
First 2 we agreed on. And for me, I was flipping back and forth.
It's hard,
I love Days of Future Past, and I love Logan.
Yeah.
But I said Days of Future Past has more replayability because it's more fun, less depressing.
And I
think I can watch it more
And
often.
I have to agree, because I've only watched Logan twice.
Yeah, same here.
Fully. But I even had said it's one of those movies where it's hard because it's like Infinity War. You can only watch it so many times because it ends like it's a downer ending.
It's a downer ending.
You know, like so you're just
not
like,
a feel good ending.
No, and of course
or
because
movie.
You spend the whole movie too going like, how does he die? How does he die? How does he die?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was kind of the same with John Wick 3 where I was like, how does he die? How does he die? When he doesn't, I was like, oh wow. Unfortunately, John Wick 4, I'm going to be like, well, he has to die.
Yeah.
He has to die.
Whichever one is the last movie, he's got to die.
Yeah. And even though, like, Chad Stahelski is head, it's not going to be a good ending. I don't know why people think it is. Yeah, he didn't say that. I'm paraphrasing. But he's like, there's no way
something
it
along
ends
those
good.
lines. Yeah.
There's no way it ends good.
A guy like this, he doesn't have a happy ending.
No.
No.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So Days of Future Past, Logan.
Yep.
X2.
Yep.
Because X2 is the best of the originals and still one of the best superhero movies ever made.
Yep, exactly.
First Class, because I love First Class. It's fun. It's a fun movie.
And this is where I put Apocalypse.
Yeah, so you went to Apocalypse. Here. Then I did Deadpool, the first Deadpool.
Yep.
So I love the first Deadpool.
I agree.
Original X-Men.
Yep.
Because it's the classic. It's still great.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went Apocalypse.
And I would put Days of Future Past there.
Okay.
That's right.
Days of Future Past or First Class? First Class, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You switched the two?
That's right.
Okay. So then I went Dark
Well, no,
Phoenix.
because you put First Class where I'm putting Apocalypse.
Right, so you're putting First Class where I put Apocalypse.
That's right.
Is that what you're saying?
That's right. And
Okay.
then I'm doing...
This is where things
Yeah.
switch between us.
Mhm.
So then I go Dark Phoenix, because I do enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
I just, obviously, there's problems behind the scenes. The Wolverine, and the Wolverine would be way up on my list if it didn't have that ending.
Exactly.
Because the Ninja Village was amazing.
Exactly.
The Bullet Train was amazing.
Exactly.
Like-
Then you get to like Mech Shinobi Shaw, or no, Mech Shinobi, Silver Samurai.
Yeah.
Mecha Silver Samurai, and you're like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Slicing
Like,
claws
I
off.
get it, the guy is dying, and he's like
Yeah.
older than death, and he wants Wolverine's powers, but...
Up to that, it was awesome. Then I got Deadpool 2, because I do enjoy Deadpool 2, but I don't think it's remotely near as good as the first. The first, I love the smallness,
Yeah, no, I mean,
self-containment of it all.
everything's great.
Last Stand, X-Men Origins. That's how it ends.
Yeah, mine would be, Dark Phoenix? Either one of those two are the last two.
Yeah.
And then, basically...
So
fill in
after
the blanks
First
at that
Class,
point.
you would go Wolverine or Deadpool 2?
I would do Wolverine over Deadpool 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then Deadpool 2, and then you're at Origins.
Yep.
And then one of the two Dark Phoenix movies.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I want to know your ranking. Rank the X-Men movies down below.
Yeah! Where
Please.
can you rank them?
And thank you.
Can you rank them on Instagram?
You can rate them on Instagram.
Can you rank them on Facebook?
You can do it there.
What about YouTube?
Well, if you're on YouTube right now, then you can do it. If you're listening on SoundCloud, you can go over to YouTube, or you can also comment while you're here on SoundCloud.
Can you also do it on Apple Music?
I don't think you can on Apple Podcasts. I think that's a listen and no comment.
I like how you subtly corrected me. That was nice.
Yes.
Apple Podcast is going to be a hard one for me to remember.
Apple Podcasts.
Because I was always saying iTunes.
iTunes is so much easier to
Yeah.
say.
Apple Podcast.
Apple Podcast.
Is that all you hear on that is podcasts? Because
For Apple Podcasts, I would think so.
if you hear music on Apple Podcasts, I'd be like, why the fuck?
It's a lie.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
Oh, speaking of music, have you listened to the new Tool album?
I have not yet. But James told me it's amazing. Yeah.
When I heard the first single, one of the guys I worked with, Mason Couch, I had actually said, like, it's a good song, but it's a Tool song.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if you listen to Tool, you like Tool, you kind of know what you're into. Hearing the whole album, though, oh, fuck.
Yeah?
Oh, my God.
Good. I can't wait to hear it.
It is well worth the wait.
Yeah.
It is
It's
incredible.
a hell of a wait.
Well, yes.
It's a hell of a wait, especially...
But I'm not surprised. I mean, all those guys are weirdos. And, because what's his face? Maynard he was doing Pucifer and Perfect Circle. So he was constantly doing music.
Flipping back. Oh, yeah. He hasn't stopped at all.
But I mean, like, they're all weird dudes in real life. Like, I've seen interviews with Danny Carey, and I'm like, yeah, I can see why you're in Tool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're a kind of a weird dude. You know? Like, I don't know if I could hang out with him for long periods of time. You know? And I'm not saying, like, I'm not a weird
Little
dude.
slivers of
I'm
time
not saying
here
I'm
and
not
there.
a weird dude because I firmly
Well, we
believe...
all got our weirdness.
Exactly. Like, we're all weird in our own way, and there are
But, you know,
people are going to meet me and
yeah.
go, he's kind of a weird dude.
Yeah.
But, like, I guess I'm just saying, like, if I'm saying he's kind of a weird dude, he's kind of a weird dude. You know? But anyway.
That is our X-Men. We're done the X-Men.
No more X-Men.
That is it.
That is it.
We're done for probably years. Though I did hear that Marvel is retooling New Mutants again.
Oh.
That the new cut,
I know,
the
I actually just
final
heard
cut,
this.
is
no
more
reference.
in line with the original, has zero mention of Fox's movies.
Yeah.
So Marvel Studios can use it if they ever choose to going forward.
Yeah. Well.
Whether it goes to theaters or not, I don't know. But the fact that they're still talking about it makes me happy. So I'm going to see it some way, some form.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I don't even think so.
But before we sign off, Chris, this is episode 49.
Yeah.
Number 50 is next.
And what are we doing for the 50? Are we doing some sort of sandwich?
We are sandwiching.
Are we?
It's so strange. Episode 50 will be Nacho Runner. And if you're wondering what...
Nacho Runner
If
2049.
you're wondering...
Come on, get it right.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris. Or should it be 2019?
Nope.
No, 2049. If you're wondering what we mean by that, it's the fact that we only got 2 votes.
I like Nacho Runner. That's really good. I really like Nacho Runner.
It was either that or Blade
Libre. Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
Nacho Runner. Because I would run for nachos.
I would actually also watch a movie that was Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
In the Blade Runner role.
Can you imagine that? Oh, I want to see someone do an edit of that. That would be so good.
I can't even think of any lines right now to do as like Mexican Jack Black. Just because that would be too funny.
Sometimes when you're alone, you wear your stretchy pants.
But I mean, like having, I don't know, like Rutger Hauer doing his big speech, and then you scene cut to like Nacho Libre
It's
literally
like,
just being like, I'm sad. The words you say touch my heart in a way that is not good. Like, oh my god.
That'd be a great
Would you
cut.
like some stretchy pants? It's fucking ridiculous.
So we're going to do Blade Runner, The Final Cut, Nacho Libre,
Yep.
Blade Runner 2049. That is Camcast 50. Coming soon.
To wherever you view the Geek Pants.
To a screen or a sound device near you.
You couldn't leave it at just wherever you view it, right? You had to, like, add...
You know, like the narrator guy's voice came in my head.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
I will let that
Anyways,
slide.
thank you very much. We will talk to you soon.
Geek Pants out.
These pancakes are delicious.